we go. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
What's up, Blap? How's it going, dude? Shut my door.
All right. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. It's a big one today. How's everybody doing? HD, welcome on in. Story time. Send nodes. Let's go. Ashes of Relation. Welcome on in, Jeff. Let's go. How's everybody going? Taxes in the building.
There we go.
Got a lot to discuss while we get some of you guys in chat. Fiddles is here.
Oh yeah, man, it's a big week.
It's big. It's big. Here, I'm gonna get the link posted in Discord chat, and we'll get started.
Thank you, honey.
It's always yours.
Yep, yes it is.
You have to keep.
Oh boy, there is gonna be some. I predict some wild, random tangents coming. We're what, 2 days away? 2 days away from Nodes reveal, the biggest reveal in Ashes.
You want to see what the game is?
Okay, one time.
All right,
Bye, honey. Let's see
here we go. All right, I'm good. Okay, let's kill the music. Let's get to it. Less than 48 hours. Oh man. Tax says hi, else.
What's up, dude?
All right. All right, we'll go ahead and get into it. I'd like to do another proper introduction. Like to say welcome on in to Ashes of Creation. This will be episode number 7. Today's main focus. We usually don't do a main focus. We just usually break down, random stuff that happened that week, random news, predictions, debate topics, etc., etc. This week we kind of got like a plan. I know it's crazy. We're being professional, but we're gonna try to stick to one subject today, and that subject is nodes. Nodes is very important, and as you know, we're getting our biggest stream in the node system this Thursday, the 31st, and it's the hype is building. They technically delayed it already one time, so that, like I said before, raises my expectations even more. I know Else is excited. We're just, yeah. So today's plan is we're gonna do Nodes 1. We're gonna watch Nodes 1 and Nodes 2 with you guys. And obviously, this information is probably old or outdated or will be irrelevant. Well, some of it will be irrelevant in like 2 days, but I think it'll be good for us and our whole community to get together and get like a basis. Like, all right, what is Nodes? What do we know about it? And obviously, after these videos, Nodes 1 and Nodes 2, more information has came out about Nodes. But I think this will be a really good trip back into time to see, kind of set our expectations, so to speak.
Yeah, going off of what Nice said, not everybody has watched everything. I've intentionally not watched the node videos. I've read about nodes on the forums. I've watched other live streams, but I've never actually watched nodes 1 and 2. So I'm very curious about what this is. And yeah, 2 days from now, a lot of things will probably change, but the goal here is to update people about what they are, what they're doing, and get people kind of excited for the direction that they're going to head in. So
Nice. Let's see. So, just to catch up with chat, you'll be here for the Node stream. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to live stream the Node stream this month. I know this is the big one. We should have a watch party, but I'm not sure. I got work that day, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to live react to it. I'll probably be having to watch it from work. But I guess it's a huge stream. I kind of want to sit there and absorb everything. So, but yeah, that's gonna be disappointing. I don't think I'll be able to live stream it. But missed the last couple streams. What's good? How you doing, Crash? Yeah, it's been fun, dude. It's been fun. I left a lot of content for you to catch up on. Is it weird to camp beside your own computer? No, Node stream is that serious. You need to be there, ready, in position. You want to understand the treasure hunting more? I actually have a video coming out on that soon. Well, what I am assuming you're talking about, at least with utility skills. All right, so anyways, let's let's get started. Else, if you want to start sharing your screen, and I'll have to like kind of adjust it on my end. But if you want to share your screen.
Oh boy.
And we haven't like really practiced this so much, at least on my end, as far as basically we're going to make it so that we can share our screen and see what each other sees. So yeah,
put the nudes away so we don't get banned.
There we go. All right. And so like I said, we're gonna Nodes 3 never happened. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to do this really quick for you guys, and then if I change my stream setting like so, haha, wow, that worked out perfectly, and I can see Elsa's screen. Jonas, welcome on in. Glad you can catch us live, buddy. All right.
All right, we set?
We are set.
Let's listen to Steven, huh?
Steven's so inspirational, man. Oh, there we go. Make sure it's not laggy. Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Steven Sharif, and I'm the creative director here at Intrepid Studios.
Here, pause it really quick.
MMORPG and
So it's a little skippy on my end. I wonder. Okay, now press play again.
Okay.
Development, Ashes of Creation. Well, I'd like to take you through part 1 in a series of videos that will explain probably the most important system in the game, our node system.
I'll be fine.
This system is what enables players to develop the world around them, affecting everything from the story of the world to the content that players experience. All throughout the world in Ashes of Creation exist nodes. These nodes at first exist behind the scenes, unknown to the players as collection points for activities. These nodes are divided into zones of influence, or ZOIs as we call them, represented here by the different colored areas, and within each zone is a node as shown. A node represents a specific location where a camp can form and gradually be developed into a village, then a town, to a city, and eventually a metropolis. Every activity a player participates in will fall within a specific node's ZOI, and these activities will contribute to that specific node's development. This is important because only so many nodes can be developed, and certain content is locked behind which nodes develop.
Let's pause right there really quick.
I was just going to pause it right there.
All right, so before we get into it, on my end chat, it's going to be a little skippy, but it's more so about the message, and I'm so glad they have subtitles in here. But let's break that down. So you guys know we discussed that last week as far as nodes locking us out of content, depending on where you form your nodes, what nodes go to stage, well, the Metropolis stage, et cetera, et cetera. This is really big. We kind of touched on this already, but this is a really big aspect. And what's important to me is that it puts meaning into the conflict, right? It puts meaning into conflict. And to me, that's super important. Else feels the same way, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the point he's making right here is so let's say we're this really cool pink node here in the center. everything you do in that area where you gain experience, you're building towards growing your specific node. And so the green one is going to do the same thing. The yellow one is going to do the same thing. And basically, how I've interpreted the node system for this is just essentially an arms race for trying to get your area up the fastest, because they'll explain it later in the video, I'm sure. But the bigger your node gets, the more you restrain other people's nodes. And so if you want a really big node, you can't really be parked next to the big node. And so all these areas will probably be conflicting with each other initially, because it's like, well, we got to slow them down. We got to slow them down because we want to be the node. We want to be the big one. We want to be the metropolis. And you're going to have this fighting over these different areas as to who's going to be king, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And you can get those weird situations where it could happen where two metropolis are right next to each other. But outside of that one specific situation, basically the higher level nodes envelop or take over the lower nodes. Those become their vassal nodes, right? And then I think he probably talks about it in this video, but there's overlapping zones of influences, or ZOIs as they'll refer to them as.
Yeah.
So like say you're farming some mobs in where that border between it don't have to exactly be on the border, of course, but like on the corner of that green node right there. Well, as you're leveling the nodes, that XP is going to go to both of those. So it's really interesting to see how different the nodes are going to be per server. Now, the thing to try to understand is something I recently just realized, or took back into account rather, is that the node type doesn't change server to server, but the nodes as far as like pretty much as how they're developed does. So like that pink node, if Metropolis was to go there, right? That's a economy node. That's always gonna be an economy node if that one is the one to level. And that concept is pretty interesting, especially, and I don't want to keep ranting about everything with nodes because that's what I'm about to do, but I think it's really interesting considering that there's a limit on how many metropolises that you can have on a server.
Yes.
Is one server going to end up with 3 economic nodes or 3 scientific nodes? I think that's really interesting. Somebody in chat said the last node stream was September 2021, almost 2 years ago. Wow. We've been we are in the Ashes of Creation waiting room, aren't we, ladies and gentlemen? All right, I guess we can hit play.
All right.
Between different communities that have a vested interest in the development of certain nodes. When you first enter the world, you will arrive through one of the great divine gateways. These portals are remnants of the civilizations that once inhabited this world. Your ancestors fled their home in haste, and now an eternity has passed, and these divine gateways have opened once again, leading you back to the world of your origin. As our players begin to explore their surroundings, they will find a world teeming with valuable resources, complex quests, and monstrous foes. In this case, one of our players has found some ore to mine, which allows her to progress her artisan class by collecting materials from the world. This other player has begun to harvest wood he needs for building supplies to construct a home on the hillside. As they collect these materials, they are both gaining character experience, while at the same time contributing experience to the node that resides in this specific zone of influence.
Okay.
So that to me is very interesting, and something I will admit is that often when I'm thinking about leveling nodes or progressing your character, progressing nodes specifically, I often think about it as like, oh, I killed some wild boar in this area. I killed a player in this area. I did this quest in the area. It's very rare that I think about something as simple as mining ore and gathering resources, chopping down a tree, stuff like that as contributing to node progress. Like, to me, that is very interesting, and I think players that just like main artisanship, so to speak, Like New World had really good gathering in my opinion. Like I could actually zone out and do that for a couple of hours. And I think players that are looking to get that feeling of just being like a tradesman, a crafter or whatever, harvester rather, like I think they're gonna really like that they're actually still contributing, even though they're not PvPing, even though they're not like crazy far in their quest line and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be really cool. Ashes of Relation says Steven has a good reading voice, like a white Morgan Freeman. I like that. I like that. I like that. It's very true. Like this video is inspirational. Just the music, of course, and the way he reads it. But yeah, let's go.
As players participate in more activities, this node will collect enough experience to advance to the next stage of development. All the activity in this area has brought the base node to stage 1 in its development. We call this the NPC stage. Until now, this node was unknown, but the arrival of these NPCs unlocks access to new activities for the players, and as the node continues to progress through each level, it will attract more NPCs, which will provide evolving content that reflects the specific node's location. Let's fast forward to a level 4 node, the town stage. Notice that a new monster is threatening our newly formed town. If this node had not been developed, it may have never revealed itself. The world itself is reacting to the advancement of specific nodes. This town was advanced near forests and mountains, drawing the attention of the sinister creatures that dwell within. If the town had been formed along the coast,
yes,
perhaps this fisherman would have caught something more dangerous than the fish you see here. The content that exists in Ashes connects in some way to the location and advancement of the node system. It reaches level 5, becoming a city, and some new events are happening in the world. A bridge has been built to connect this area to a neighboring node. This will add a potential trade route that our caravan system will take advantage of, connecting two neighboring nodes and allowing for economic prosperity for players to capitalize on.
Yeah, I'm gonna be an actual bridge troll.
However, all of this activity has triggered something deep within the mountain. All of this civilization has awoken an ancient dragon. The higher stage a node advances, the more significant events it draws toward it. Epic world bosses will reflect the development of specific nodes and their location. Our world is designed to react to the players by providing new and exciting chapters to an ever-evolving story. A story that reflects the actions of each server. A story that can change and adapt to provide the players an immersive tale woven by the actions of the community.
Yeah, so you were just saying, Nice, that it's been 2 years since they've discussed nodes. Just off that sentence alone, we can see why. The fact that you're going to have an ever-evolving, ever-adapting node system based off of the players in the area is such a crazy intensive, like, it's an extensive undertaking. And the cool part about this that I was thinking about when I was hearing it is there are all sorts of players that exist in the game, right? There's more casual players, there's hardcore players, there's like just a vast array of experience. And the node area that you play in this way will be more or less suited or catered to your level. So when you become a badass, when you're working together to build a city, you will then have city level bosses to fight and city level consequences. But when you're not there, you're going to have smaller level creatures to take care of. And I think that's a really cool idea. It's a very neat idea to progress an area. So
like it is so like it just has so much ingenuity, so much innovation. Like that is amazing to me. Like your town levels up and then now there's this dragon here. Like, especially if that's a difficult dragon, like you need like a good node population to fight it off. I think that would be epic.
Yeah.
This was their concept 2 years ago, 2+ years ago. Well, longer than that, but you know, that's when this video was. This has been their concept for this long. Something that somebody enlightened me, Talents in Discord, he said something that blew my mind. And I know I was gonna say this for like in between videos, but it just came back in my head and I forgot to write it down, so I'm just gonna blurt it out here.
Go for it.
The node system is so crazy and we're so happy with what we have, right? you remember how freeholds changed just a little bit? Like it was still the grand, amazing thing that we all like, but there were some changes.
Yep.
Like, what if they made it even better? What if nodes had some changes to where it's even more like crazy and more impressive? What if there's a whole new node type? What if there's a new node type? Like, we wouldn't even be prepared for that. Like, that is crazy to me. And this is like off topic or off subject in as far as the visuals that we're going to see, right? What are we going to see? What are we going to not see? What are we going to get inside of a PowerPoint versus what we actually see? But like, what are the new things Intrepid is doing that they're just going to surprise us with?
So to piggyback off that, I want to, like, this is going to be my prediction since we're 2 days away. From the live stream reveals that we've seen, we want to go back and look at freeholds. We look at how extensive the freehold system is with the live stream reveal, and then the article afterwards explaining how you go about getting these things. Steven sitting down talking to other content creators about how you're going to go out about acquiring these freeholds. They spent a lot of time and effort into going through what they are, what they entail, how you will get them, and these sorts of things. And then later on, like a week later, they talked about craft bags and how they're going to go off of a Tetris style inventory system, which has typically been a negative. But Steven then reveals that the reason they're doing that is because they've had extensive conversations and basically like it's a way of prohibiting gankers from taking all of your stuff. And it's like that type of conversation, as soon as he said it, I was like, I would have never have thought about that. Those types of conversations are only things that you have happen when you're discussing the pros and cons of each individual thing over and over and over again. And so my point of view is if they've thought that far in depth on their inventory management system, and the node system is supposed to be their like creme de la creme, the big thing, I can't see how it's not going to be in depth, how it's not going to be extensive, how they're not going to add or expand upon things that they've talked about in the past. Like I feel like this is the biggest stream we'll probably see in the last 2 years.
Yes.
So,
undoubtedly. I like what you said there when you brought up the craft bag, because it shows you how little we know and how we're following this product, this MMO, so closely that we think we know what the right decisions are. You've seen people so passionate, they'll call out Steven or they'll call out Intrepid like, no, they need to do this way. This won't work. This failed in this game, blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy how people don't want to assume that they're ignorant. They want to think that they know best.
yeah.
In reality, there's so much behind the scenes that we do not know about. We know about a lot of systems, but how they intertwine, like that craft bag thing, like I like most people was like, well, it's cool, but it seems kind of tedious. And then when he went on that podcast and was like, hey, here's the PvP implications of that. The people that was complaining about Ashes might be too PvP heavy, like, oh, I don't like the PvP, I'm gonna get ganked, I'm gonna lose all the stuff I've been farming. Little did they know that system is in there to protect them. It is Care Bear friendly, if anything. Am I right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about how much that we don't know. And that's something that is hard for us as just followers of this project to come to terms with. That Steven, turns out, chat, that Steven might know best about his own game. It's crazy. I'm trying to warm up to the idea myself, but Steven might actually know what's best for Ashes of Creation. Go figure. Go figure.
I do want to roll back just a little bit to what we're talking about here for those of you guys that don't know, that don't watch every podcast and look at stuff to research. Because sometimes when I'm talking, I'm just under the assumption everybody knows. But the craft bag style system is like a Tetris style system where you're going to have different size and shape bags for different things you can loot or have in the area. So you may want a more rectangular type of bag if you're farming for wood, for instance. Like, so you're collecting lumber, you may want that. And so the point we're talking about is the reason they're doing that system is let's say you're a farmer, right? You're going out and you're collecting your specific resource to advance your specific art, your craft, and you get ganked. It's going to happen. Like, we're all going to get ganked. It's going to happen. Well, if the person that ganked you doesn't have the same types of bags with them, they can't take as much of the stuff as you had. And so if you're a ganker, not only, like, if you're looking out there for loot, you need to see what they're farming for so you have the correct bags to farm and take from them, which not everybody's going to do. And so it's just another way of protecting players and their resources and these sorts of things. And it's such an interesting idea because just like you, Nice, I thought the same thing about the inventory bags. It's like, just put weights. Weights is just so much easier. I was like, why are you even talking about this? Like, that was the first thing that jumped into my head. And then once he explained that, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, this is worth a shot. You can always go back to weights later. Like, if this is too extensive and it's not fun, we're pre-alpha too. You could test it later. But it's actually a pretty cool idea when you think about it that far.
Yeah, now that once we got additional information, we're like, okay, Steven, you were right kind of decision, you know? Before we hit play, two things. One, apologies chat for the skipping in the earlier video. What I've done now is pulled up Is There No One Else's stream on Twitch. By the way, make sure you guys are subbed to his channel. It's tagged in the title, and of course, make sure you follow him on Twitch. If you ever get tired of looking at my face in the bottom right corner, Else doesn't have my face on his stream, so more Ashes of Creation could be on screen. But anyways, so I got your stream pulled up rather than the sharing of the Discord thing. So if you want, you can cancel that on your end if you'd like.
Okay.
Second thing, I would like to catch up on chat here.
Sure.
I got a couple of comments. Let's see. I thought. Let's see. What is okay? So Ravicus said, what is progress? It would be more toward the playstyle. One would harvest resource, and another they might want to raise wild beasts, not harm the forest, animal taming, husbandry. I get that. Simbi was talking about scope creep. So I don't look at nodes as scope creep in the sense that it's something that's integral to the part of the game. Like, it's like the whole, not the whole game, but it's like the main thing that they're going for. I think scope creep comes into play, if you want to say it's a thing. I think that comes into play more so when I hear about random systems. Like, this game has so much going on, and every time I think I know a good 80% of it, I realize that I only knew 60. And I don't think about scope creep in these main systems like nodes, PvP, naval warfare, crafting, animal husbandry, taming, and all this other stuff. When I think about scope creep, I think like, and I'm like, okay, maybe you guys can add that in the DLC. Okay, maybe not worry about trying to squeeze that in for Alpha 2. I think about stuff like the stock market. You know, little niche, maybe unnecessary systems that I don't feel is necessary. Like, obviously I want it, but I just hope it's not one of those things at the top of the priority list. I think that's when we start getting to the scope creep, if that's a thing. I think that's when we start getting to that conversation, Simbi. But as far as nodes, I think they can get as innovative, detailed, tedious, and just crazy stuff as they want, if that's what you were referring to, of course. You had something?
Oh, I was going to say, if they did add more node types, I think you could say that is scope creep, like going out further than they have before. I don't know if that I don't think that's a bad thing personally if they did do that. But yeah, I mean the thing is nodes is the driver of this game. It really is. Nodes is going to drive this game, how they create it, and this is you know, this is the engine in the car. Like, you do what you got to do. Like, if this is going to drive us, you got to make sure it's awesome. So that's how I view it.
I good metaphor there. Like, you can put whatever rims, you can choose to paint the car, but don't touch the engine. This is our core. This is, you know, like, do whatever you want with that. But yeah, that's probably what they were talking about when they said scope creep, adding a new kind of node. I would agree. I ain't gonna lie. If they replaced a node, I wouldn't look at it as scope creep. But if we get to the node stream and like, oh, instead of the 85 nodes, we decided that we're going to go with 111 nodes, and we also added a new node type. I'd be like, oh boy, my release predictions just changed. My release window prediction is now 2029. But yeah, someone in chat, name here says stock market was a Kickstarter goal. Okay, so that's one of those things that wouldn't change or be removed. Okay. Fiddle says something that blew my mind. That you learned castles control the nodes essentially and collect taxes from them. Guilds are not restricted how they spend the money. Really? I don't know much about the castle wise. I just know the money that the node earns is not really, a guild can't use it. Like that money is for the node, invested in such and such. The castles, that's probably something we're gonna have to look into. But that'd be a good topic of discussion. DM me something about that on Discord. We can talk about that next stream, or maybe we can squeeze it in this one. We'll see. But that's a good topic. Fiddles also says, I will argue with anyone that thinks AOC is mainly a PvP or too heavy PvP game. I like this tangent. So,
Yeah.
we talked about this. I don't know if this was on stream or not, but like, I have a bold prediction that instead of AOC being looked at this as this griefing, crazy sandbox, kill everything environment where it's just like you're always at war, I have a prediction that we as and I say PvP mains, it's a PvX game, but players that are interested in this MMO, that were driven to this MMO because of PvP, those players are actually going to be the ones that's more let down. And I don't think they're going to get let down because there's so much PvP options, and that's even before you look at corruption. We got objective based meaningful PvP and things like caravan sieges and et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, I think the people that are coming to this game specifically for PvP, if anything, they're going to feel like, oh, there's not enough, or corruption is too mean. I don't think it's going to be the opposite.
Yep.
I think we're going to be testing an alpha tube like, okay, just because I killed that guy that pissed me off, I shouldn't have to be sitting here grinding this area for 2 hours to work off the XP debt from just killing those one or two guys. I think that's going to be the new perspective. I think that's going to be the narrative going forward. Just bold prediction, but that's what I think is going to happen, at least with initial testing.
I completely agree with you, and the more I think about it, the more I think that makes sense. So I didn't know this until last week. Somebody brought up the fact that I know how big the map is. I didn't realize that 2/3 of the Ashes of Creation map is actually water, and then 1/3, roughly, it's like 2/3, 1/3, like 2/3 is water, and then 1/3 is land. So that means 2/3 of Ashes is full on, no corruption PvP 24/7. So yeah, like when you get on land, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that if you're in, like, you could go kill as many people as you want over here, but maybe over here you have some consequences if you kill somebody, without asking, or without with a town and with other bounty hunters in place and everything. So I think that's the way it's going to be as well.
Someone in AOC Discord said the other day, like, they need to make the whole map not corruption, like stop catering to these Care Bears. And even as like a PvP enthusiast, I disagreed with that. I'm like, like, if you want people to enjoy this game and play this game, hell, I might not even like it. Like, just imagine getting killed. You're just trying to get to this quest marker and you're just killed with no consequences to the other player. I think we're going to be satisfied with what Elle said is either a third or 2/3 of the map. I mean, open seas, I think we're gonna be satisfied. Come join our Navy. If you got this pent up PvP rage in you and you need to PK someone, join up, enlist in our Navy, and we will go find someone for you to release that rage.
We're gonna control the high seas, guys. It's happening. So
yes, whole Zerg Navy.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny because talking about PvPers, everybody likes to lump PvPers into a bucket, right? This is gonna be my tangent. I'm sorry. But
please.
But everybody likes to lump PvPers into a bucket, like, oh yeah, you guys just like to PvP. Well, there's different types of PvPers. There's people like me and Nice. Like, if you guys watch our ESO live, like our streams, or you watch us play New World, we're always trying to go find outnumbered fights. Like, we're always trying to put ourselves at a disadvantage or on equal footing against the other opponents. So 1v1s, outnumbered situations, these sorts of things. Yes. But there's also just assholes. there's no other way to put around it. If you got a low level area, there's going to be people out there that are just going to go shit on low levels all day because they think it's funny. And so, like, that's just literally what they're going to do. And you saw it, like, I saw it in New World, like, where people, high level characters would come into like the level 10 zones hoping to or level 30 zones trying to find people flagged because they thought it was funny. And yeah, I mean, it's protecting against that is a good thing, because then you have more people enjoying the game. And and yeah, like, you can still do it if you choose to, but you just have consequences for doing it at that low level. If you're an actual PvPer, you won't go out there killing low levels. You'll kill people, more or less your level. So
I'm a fan, and so are you, a fan of meaningful PvP, meaningful conflict. And I mean
Yes.
that in two ways. I mean that in two ways, in that meaningful conflict, like I mentioned, PvPs with a caravan, I get a chance at loot. PvP against a node with a node siege, I get a chance at getting rid of that node that I didn't want there, right? I also think PvP, as far as like going corrupted, killing a player, I think that's meaningful. I think that's like meaningful in the sense that it has consequences. That
Yes.
meant something. I took a risk there. Like, that's how bad I didn't like that guy.
Yeah.
Or that's how much of a risk I want to take. That's how bad I thought that he was holding a lot of materials that I was willing to just, you know what? I'm probably gonna have to grind this negative XP off for about 20 minutes or so, but I think that guy's holding a lot of
Yeah.
fancy ores, and I
He's
want
been here
all
for
of it.
12 hours. I'm willing to risk it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, our community is so amazing. We're not going to be able to finish this video because people just keep throwing random tangents at this. So Hussein in chat says AOC is PvPvE. Honestly, all games should be. Hot take, dude. If the Elder Scrolls Online's Imperial City was everywhere,
Yeah.
yeah, or even just like, or if Cyrodiil had more PvE environment, like you know how Imperial City has the patrolling bosses. If there was more PvE to do in Cyrodiil, I would love that, and especially because it would drive more population. I think that's the best kind of game you can get, is when you blend the two and you don't separate and segregate players from each other. I'm a PvPer, I'm a PvEer. No,
Yes.
I want to be an Ashes player. I want that to be my my assignment or title, if you will.
Okay. I didn't want to go on another tangent until this was brought up, but you just brought
This
it
whole
up.
stream is to take notes out the title. This is
Yeah.
tangents.
So Galwood says there's a huge difference between the ganker and the collective elite PvP alliance member. 100%. I do completely agree with that. And yeah,
I like it.
There's a big difference between those types of things. And nice what you just said. I've been trying to say for a while. And as a content creator for other MMOs, I like to talk, like for ESO specifically, I like to talk about PvP. For I've done very few PvE videos. I've just not been able to participate in PvE since, you know, you have kids and time goes out the window.
Yes.
Like that's just what happens. But I would like to talk about it. But when I do videos, I have to almost always preface that I'm talking about PvP. I have to almost always preface that this is about PvP, because what will happen is other people will watch the video and they'll be like, hey, this isn't going to work for trials. This isn't going to work for dungeons. It's not going to work for this. Like trash build, garbage, blah, blah, blah. You know, you get that
Yes.
message. And you're like, and then you have to respond. You're like, this isn't about what you're talking about. This is about something else. Oh, yeah, my bad. But the cool part about what Ashes is, and Fiddles, you know, created an entire conversation about it on the forums that devolved, is the fact that the vast majority of Ashes of Creation, it's not just, hey, this type of build will only work in this environment. It's both environments. Like you're
Yes.
going to be, you're going to encounter both. And so, yeah, you're going to have PvP specific builds, maybe for like caravans, or maybe if you're on the high seas and stuff, and you can kind of separate that way. But land style areas, you're more or less going to be run like your players
Yes.
interacting with the world. And it's nice to not have that moniker of, oh, you're a PvP or you're a psychopath. Oh, you're a PvE or you're a Care Bear. Like it's nice just to not have that anymore.
Yes, just get rid of that. It's a new age chat. We're gonna probably use the terms PvP and PvE, but we're all PvX. Like, get with it or
Yes.
get gone. Rage in chat has a question. He says, "Will there be a passive mode in there for weenies?" There will not. There will not. If someone wants you gone, yes, gone. Like, there is no passive mode like GTA Online. You know what? Chat, can y'all stop being so interactive? Because now I got another tangent. I just seen another Fiddles comment. So Fiddle says, what Elt said is exactly the problem with people's perception of PvP. That's their experience with it. So they group us all up together. And I know we kind of just said it, but I really hope that doesn't happen. And he just made me think of a random tangent. And well, so did you, because you kind of brought this up. Building for PvP versus building for PvE. In a
Yeah.
PvX game, I'm trying to think about like build videos or how do I want to build my character. Me personally, I want to build for both. If I can have one build that, even if it doesn't excel at one, if I can have one that's ready for everything, I can go raid this boss, but I'm also ready if another player runs up on me. That's how I want to build. Yes, if there's like a certain PvP trait or a certain stat, or if it turns out like critical is less effective against players, you got those weird things that might come up with stats. But I want to kind of be right in the middle. That's how I want to build. And from what you're saying, I think you're going to kind of try to do the same. But I mean, there's going to be certain days where me and Els hop on like, dude, I'm broke. Let's go raid a caravan. Then I'm probably going to switch things up, right? So that's something I thought was interesting, is how do you build for a PvX game?
Yeah, I would look at it as like, what am I encountering the most? You know, so like if you look at Imperial City, for instance, it's a lot of PvPers. You're going to encounter a lot of PvP, so you're still running impenetrable, you know, on everything, like PvP focused gear set traits and everything. Well, if you're in open world and like you maybe get ganked once a week, hypothetically, like let's say you only have somebody killing you once a week while you're farming, well, you're not going to be really PvP and incentive focused, are you? Like you're like, okay, I die once out of the 5 days I'm out here playing, like who cares? But if you're getting ganked every hour by different people, or every 2 hours, or like your nodes at war, you might want to go, hey, I'm getting killed a lot, I'm not collecting a whole lot because they're taking all my shit. I'm gonna want a more PvP focused build. So
right, like just because you're able to farm that dungeon boss a little bit quicker because of that PvE gear, but if you're getting killed occasionally, maybe you want to go a little bit more balanced. Well said. Name here says risk/reward. Shouldn't the best stuff be in the open seas? It in fact is. It is, and I know they said the best stuff is going to be in the open seas. They said something like that. I know Steven said something about that, and that makes me wonder. Like, dude, I just imagine this huge. I don't know what you call them, hydras, like these water dragons, or these huge squids. You know, they're going to do some epic world bosses out in the ocean. Like, I can't imagine these ocean battles or these naval battles, PvP and PvE wise. Like, there's going to be some big raid bosses. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm just. I probably fantasize about the idea of Ashes of Creation more than like what we're actually gonna get, because I'm just. Because it's like I picture this scenario where we got our, you know, me and you, like, okay, we like PvP, we become like pirate role players, you know, and most of our PvP happens on the open sea, and we got like a nice little decent navy. Let's just say we have 6 boats and we're just patrolling, looking for some PvP, looking for some loot, and then we approach this world boss and it's difficult. We're going at it, and it's crazy. We're having to repair the boats, go back out there, and then we just look in the horizon and see like 7 or 10 ships pull up because they want to farm that boss too, and we all know we're all flagged to each other. Like, that's gonna be epic. Like, does everyone work together to focus that boss because he's that difficult, or do they aim their cannons at us? Like, who strikes first? Or like, I just think that's gonna be a crazy situation. Rage just called me a hybrid, a PvP Care Bear.
Wow. Yeah, you haven't kicked him out of your chat yet? I'm just kidding.
He's working on it.
Blap says, cool thing is they can go the BDO route and have a PvP server with no corruption. Enter at your own risk, incentive being higher item drop rate. Yeah, I think that's how the high seas are basically going to be. Like, you go into open sea PvP, like there's no corruption, so you're going to have higher drop rates. And what, piggybacking up what you were just talking about and what your chat was just talking about, risk versus reward, that was being brought up a lot on Fiddle's forum post, and they were talking about, oh, why is the risk versus reward, why is it only dedicated to PvP? And it's not. And so I wrote a post on it, and I was explaining how it's not all about PvP. Like, I look at risk versus reward as you're weighing the consequences of your actions, right? Like, that's what you're doing. As a player in Ashes, you will be weighing the consequences of what you decide to do. Now, we all know, like, starting out in a game, whatever we're playing, you have your grind spot, and sometimes you have the people that'll grind with you and you take a little bit less experience, but you're all working together. Or you got the guy that wants to run ahead and like try and pull everything, and they want to be that guy, right? Like that's just, you have your 2 types of people. You have your gankers. You have different types of people that enjoy different types of things. Well, if they're valuing artisan crafts the way they are, and it's going to be hard to get high level gear. Like, you're not going to be able to make it yourself. Not everybody will. You'll have to go to somebody. You have to decide who you're going to gank as a ganker, because if you want better gear, you're going to have to go to people. If you're an asshole to everybody, the consequences of your action of being an asshole is they're not going to help you. And so, like, if I'm a weaponsmith and a ganker comes up to me that's ganked me multiple times, like, hey, man, I'll pay you for weapons. I'll be like, no, fuck you. Like, I'm not going to give you better weapons to kill me. Like, what are you talking about? You can go somewhere else.
Yes.
And so that's a consequence in that situation. Yes, it revolves around PvP, but it's more about being a dick. Like if you're a dick in the game, your consequences PvE-wise or interaction-wise are completely different. And so the system is basically, all of the systems, the way I see it is how you interact with people decides how they're going to interact with you back. And that's the risk versus reward thing. And it's not just PvP.
You made me think about something there. That risk versus reward applying to everything. That is so true, and it's so slept on. Whenever I think about risk versus reward, I guess my mind jumps to PvP risk too, like a risk of a player killing me while I'm trying to farm something or whatever. But what we got to understand is when we approach these high level monsters, these really difficult tasks that we want to achieve in this open world, it's not only players that turn you into an ash pal.
Yep.
You turn into, think about Elden Ring. I talked about this in the Elden Ring. Elden Ring, it don't matter if a player kills you or if an ad kills you. You're going to drop your runes there. Well, Ashes has the same concept. No matter who kills you, you're going to drop your ash pal is going to be lootable right then and there. And I'm pretty sure someone in chat, if you guys don't mind correcting me or just confirming for me, I think even with regular deaths, you have negative XP debt or whatever it's called. Someone confirm that for me in chat, because I don't want to. It's been a while, but that sounds familiar in my head. But even if it's not the XP thing, we're gonna lose mats when we die to this random dragon on screen. You know. Okay, so Fiddle's confirmed, yes. So yeah, when you die, you're gonna have that XP debt. You're gonna lose materials. It's not just players you got to worry about. It's just that we as players, PvP. Well, not even just PvP. It's just us as players. I think when most people hear risk versus reward, yeah, you're right. They automatically assume the risk of a player ganking them. So yeah.
Another one that I posted in the server, just another non-PvP related one, is like this. So nice. Let's say you and your chat is. So me and my chat, we're creating a node, and we're trying to be one of the metropolises, right? So all of us are working together. We're making a metropolis. Your more inferior chat and yourself are also making a node next to us. And sorry, I had to. So the point is like, you're going to be creating your node. I'm going to be creating my node. And there's going to be resources I'm not going to be able to get in my area. And let's say we have an overlap, right? Like, you need one resource, I need another. We have a potential chance to be trade partners, right?
Yes.
However, we're too close to each other to where neither one of us can both be metropolises, like, realistically. Like it can happen, but the odds of it actually happening are low, according to the like what they say. So we know that basically only one man can survive. So I say, hey, I want to make this trade with you, and you decide, you know what? No, we're not going to help you out. We're gonna go somewhere else. Well, the consequences of your actions of not opening up a trade with me is, what am I going to do? What's the risk versus reward? Am I a PvP node? Am I going to fight you for it? Or am I more of like a, loot resources type of node, and I'm going to go ask and try and trade elsewhere? And so you have to weigh the pros and cons of your actions in that situation where, I don't want to trade with them because I want my node to be a metropolis, but now I'm also risking that their reaction is going to be, we're going to attack you and take all your shit because we want to be on top. So
yes. Basically, I want you to be the vassal node. I'll be the metropolis kind of mentality. Yeah. Ravicious, or I probably butchered the heck out of that. Ravicus says, this is where alt accounts come in. I read something about alt accounts. I think what was pretty much said is, if you have like an alt account just to PK, like, you're still going to get negative XP on that character. Like, you can't exactly have PK character because you're going to get less combat efficacy So I don't see that as being a thing. But I mean, I guess if you're willing to do that and then go grind off that
Work
XP,
towards
then
it.
get back on your main. Yeah, like and then get back on your main, and then until you run across that person switch, maybe that's a possibility.
Sure, I can see that.
Risk reward is where the fun is. Yes, indeed. Here I saw another comment. Let's see. Yes, there will be bounties on enemies. So I think and I'm pretty sure it can only come from the military node, but military nodes can assign bounty hunters, which is something that probably got me among the most excited for the game as far as everything goes. But yeah, bounty hunting is a thing. It is in fact a thing. What else? There was something else I saw.
Yeah, while you're reading through it, just like, so think of yourself as like a guy that wants to get corrupted, right? You not only have to risk losing your gear, you not only have to risk combat efficacy, you not only have to risk your reputation in the world, but you also have to deal with bounty hunters and anybody else that's green flagged from fighting you anytime they see a corrupted player, knowing that they could just come after you and try and get your shit. Like it's so funny when people call this like a kill box or like a bully, like these sorts of things. It's like they have all these things in place, and yeah, maybe the dials aren't going to be adjusted properly, but there's a lot of consequences for just killing people in this game.
There is. I think most of the stuff, obviously, chat, we're going to have to test some stuff in Alpha 2, but the idea is there. Obviously, numbers will have to be tweaked, right? The numbers are not going to be right day one. Day one, they might be giving us too much corruption, or day one, they might realize, like, oh, I can just gank this guy and go kill those 3 elephants over there, and then I'm good. You know, the numbers will be tweaked. But as long as the system as a concept has the right idea, we'll eventually get to that point where things are balanced. Chris, thank you so much for being here. Nice to see you live. Just saw your video yesterday about the Massive Guild. Thank you, dude. Someone else had a comment. Love this channel, and we aren't inferior, Ed says.
Non-combatants can kill a corrupted player without losing their combatant status, so everyone will run you down like a dog. Exactly. Yeah, we talked about it in the last live stream. But yeah, like if I'm green and I see a corrupted player, I'm stopping everything I'm doing. I'm trying to get loot, man. If you got a weapon, I'm trying to get your weapon. So I will be that guy.
Drop all of it. He says, I love PvP, but I also want PvE. The way I look at it is the corruption system adds danger to adventuring. Every book I read always had a dangerous world. I am tired of zero risk. I want danger. Yes. Like having some meaning in my PvE is just like, is glorious. Like I love that even this mob, like it's not like, oh, die, respawn, try it again. Like, no. I'm losing material. If a player happened to wander on by that same ad, or a player that was in the area, maybe you were trying to maybe you're with a random and you both are attacking this random mob. If that mob happens to kill you, chat, you gotta remember that guy, especially if he's not your friend, he can pick your stuff up. That you do not flag for picking up a ash pile. You do not flag for looting. Keep that in mind. So there is so many layers to this that I'm just so excited for. By the way, we've made it 4 minutes into the node video. You know what? I at this point, we don't need to like come up with topics to discuss. We're just gonna like start the stream like, hey guys, what do you want to talk about? Because we've gotten 4 minutes into nodes 1, chat. He said teabag respectively. Panda says, I like the idea of traveling into the ocean being the same energy as traveling to the dark zone in Division. I've played the Division. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, that's true. Yep. I like that. Okay, chat. Apparently this stream is about nodes 1. So Else, I'm so sorry. Annoying favor, can you reshare your stream? Sure. Because I got your because the way I'm gonna do it is that I hear your voice live still through Discord, but actually, never mind. Don't worry about it. It should still line up. Just hit play.
I do have a delay on my stream.
Oh, it shouldn't be too bad. I guess
ESO things. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm pushing play now. I think there might be a delay for you.
Okay,
This
we'll
dragon
see
is the
how
server's
much it
dragon,
is.
part of the server's tail, and one which might
Oh,
not
that's
be
right. That's why I
seen
wanted you to
by any
restart
other
your stream
server.
so I can hear the audio.
Players
That's what
now
it was.
must
That
react
was
to
my
this
mindset.
evolving threat. Thankfully, these
I
players
forgot
are
you
up
gotta
to
do
the
that so I can
task,
hear
and
the
taking
audio.
down this dragon has again contributed to the
And
node,
while you're
furthering its
resetting that up,
development.
Feather Foxclaw says,
From
I'm
the
a
first
big
stage
fan
of-
of the family name system in BDO. Your family name is always displayed first and is for your whole account. This way you can't have a good guy and a bad guy character. That makes sense. That's a good balance right there.
All right, there you
That
go.
is a good balance. Perfect. Sorry that there's no audio at this part, chat. Where is it? There it is.
We're trying to figure this out, guys. This is the first time we've done.
Yeah, it's the first time we're trying to
share
like.
views.
Yeah. Here we go. So now I got Elsa's thing here. And then I should be able to. All right, hit play.
Of a few wandering merchants to the sixth stage of a sprawling metropolis. Nodes redefine
that's
the world
weird.
around them, influencing
think I've
points of
been
interest
away.
in the world, quest lines,
Okay,
story arcs,
now
drop
I
tables
got
and
it.
resource pools, even the spawn tables for bosses and NPCs across the world. This cycle of nodes leveling, triggering events, and leveling again is the fundamental cycle of growth throughout Ashes of Creation. The world you see reflected on your server will depend entirely on where players decide to plant their roots, and the events
Different
and
server to
structures
server.
that fill the world will
Yep.
be a direct result of where and when nodes evolve. Even we aren't sure where players will take things, which makes this project exceptionally exciting for all of us. We focused here on the growth of nodes in order to show how the base functionality works, but in upcoming videos we'll delve into the sieging and possible destruction of nodes, how player-run governments of nodes work, and how regions grow. I hope you've enjoyed part 1. And if you'd like to get involved in our development, you can register on our website at ashesofcreation.com or follow us on YouTube and join our community Discord. Thanks for watching part 1 in our series on nodes.
I like how that's what we had left of Nodes 1.
Yeah, that's so little.
All right. So that concludes Nodes 1. I guess we can go straight to Nodes 2.
Anybody have anything to say while we set it up?
Yes. So Panda says, look at pre-Alpha 1 Ashes. LOL. Back when you could hit a tree with an axe for wood and nothing else would happen. Dude, the progress Ashes has made since Alpha 1. Like someone in Discord, I think it was Jonas, he's like, I was watching some Alpha 1 footage earlier, and I was like, man, I've been avoiding watching more Alpha 1 stuff. It's been so long. Like if you guys go back to my first Ashes videos, I had like Alpha 1 footage kind of sprinkled in there, but now I just don't, because like you realize now, and the more that time goes on, that was just a whole completely different game. Like some stuff is there, but I mean, think about it. There's a reason we got a new, there's a reason that the tank showcase existed, even though it was an Alpha 1. The mage existed, even though it was an Alpha 1, you know, stuff like that. And the game, and that's just archetypes, but the game itself is just so different from Alpha 1.
All right, I'm loaded if when you're ready.
Yep.
Okay.
It says stream has ended.
Oh yeah, because I closed out of that thing. So there we go.
Okay. Perfect. Full screen.
All right, you good to go?
All right.
There we go. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, this is Steven Sharif, Creative Director here at Intrepid Studios. Welcome to part 2 of our Node series. If
Hi,
you haven't
Steven.
already, I'd recommend you take a look at part 1 in our 4-part video series on nodes. It's a great introduction to the system's overall purpose and design. The Metropolis,
Why do I
the
have
pinnacle
German
of civilization,
captions.
a symbol of the power and ingenuity of the people. It is wilderness conquered, mastered, and remade in your own image. The Metropolis is effectively the culmination of the node system. It's the biggest thing that players can bring into being and the final level of civilization's development on this forgotten world. The Metropolis requires a large amount of resources to develop and maintain, and because of how nodes relate to one another,
Looks so
there
sick.
can be no more than 5 in existence at a time. So you might naturally ask, what does it do? To answer that question, we need to know what Civilization offers in general. Every stage of a node's development comes with additional services and benefits, and these services really start to pick up at Stage 3, the Village stage. One of the foremost services that a node offers is housing, and through that, citizenship. And citizenship is a big deal.
Let's pause there.
Okay.
There are three prime...
Housing and citizenship. So this is I think this is a really big deal. And once again, apologies for the skipping. I really don't know what we can do on our end. I think it's because I'm streaming, he's streaming, and then we're sharing screen. It's just a lot going on, but it's more important to listen. Listening on a podcast, I know it's crazy, but listening to what Steven says there, it's so simple, but it's so powerful. And it's, I mean, I think nodes is a huge reason most of us are attracted to Ashes of Creation.
Yeah.
Citizenship and housing is incredibly important, and I want to focus on housing really quick. I have been on record saying that I really hope that they show, I don't expect it, but I hope they do show an apartment or instance-based housing in nodes during this upcoming nodes live stream. And even if they don't show it, maybe they don't want to show it, I hope they at least mention it on the PowerPoint slide that I'm sure we're going to get before the actual in-game play presentation. And that's because a lot of the disdain about the freeholds and the freeholds being limited, and it wasn't the common argument. I mean, most people were mad about freeholds because of how it limited processing to the final tier processing to freeholds. But I seen a lot of people that were just housing mains that were thinking, man, I'm not going to be able to have housing. I'm a housing main. I'm like, no. Calm down. Wait. There's other housing for you. There's actually some really grand housing. And I hope I'm not jumping ahead. I don't think it's mentioned in this video, but housing is going to be real estate is going to be so big in Ashes of Creation. So let's say you join a node. I forgot I think stage 2 is the village stage, whatever stage 2 is. Let's say you joined it at that stage or so. Let's say as soon as that node has housing available, that you get a house. And a node, let's say a node has 30 houses allowed once it gets to the Metropolis stage, or let's say 10 houses, actually. I forget the actual number. Somebody in chat tell me the last information that we got on Metropolis housing. But anyways, you don't understand this. Well, some of you may not understand this, but that house that you get while that is at a city level or a town level, you have that house. As the node advances, your house advances. So you may, what you invested in real estate wise that started off as an apartment, what if your node is the one that becomes a metropolis? Do you realize how limited housing is in that node? Do you realize that if yours actually gets selected as a metropolis, that apartment that you invested in is going to become a freaking mansion on Main Street? Like, it's going to be a mansion, like the housing of dreams. It may not have the freehold, what do you call it? The freehold processing, but you're going to have, perhaps, I would say, I mean, it's a mansion. You're probably going to have more space than a freehold. You're going to have something more grand. And I think that's going to be really insane to think about how those will sell for. Like, if someone decide to sell that. So I think it's invested in real estate. It's going to be really big. Getting in that citizenship is going to be really big.
I could see that. And yeah, the other thing to piggyback off that is what's the incentive to be in a big area? Well, if you're a more veteran player, you're going to have access to more veteran style content in the area because that's what's available. Like, as these things grow, you're going to have more difficult things to deal with and collect. And so if you're a more experienced player, you'll probably want to have that. Also, accessibility. As these things go up, they said, you know, they're going to have more NPC interactions and things like that. Like, and so having like a one-stop shop at a Metropolis, like a Metropolis should have more and provide more than any other place on the map. And so if you have a house in that area, your accessibility to everything you may ever want, whether you need gear crafted or whatever, is available to you there. And that's where the value is going to come in. Like, yeah, freeholds are awesome. Freeholds are great, but it inherently doesn't have as much accessibility as a house in the middle of a metropolis will, because it's not as close.
Skittles, welcome on in the chat. Rage asks, can we rob people's houses? No, I don't think so. Well, technically, you could rob a freehold after a siege. So, I mean, I guess, yeah. In a certain situation, you can, like, if you lose the siege. But yeah. Nodes. No, nodes is going to be, I think you got to be really careful about who you dedicate that citizenship to as well. But man, if I can get lucky and get into that node that eventually becomes a metropolis, or even just getting citizenship in the right node that becomes a metropolis is going to be a big deal. Let's see. Oh, Panda had a comment I almost missed here. He says, "Am I crazy, or has Steven become so much better at discussing this game? He seems very paint by numbers in this, but now he sounds like a motivational speaker." Yeah, dude, he has a way with words. He got me into the pyramid scheme, so. Ashes of Relation says, the line "made in your own image" makes me think about how the node will take the aesthetic of the race which contributes the most, and it will provide specific race quests. Gonna make race-based guilds to get certain node aesthetics. Yes. And I think he mentions, or did he mention that in the last one? It might be in this one, but yeah, the race that contributed the most XP to that node, it's gonna take that identity. Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up. Off rip, I think humans, I mean, it's humans, right? It's gonna be the most popular race. I think the Valoon humans, if I was to go human, I'm looking at Valoon, but man, those Talnar and Vec look pretty cool, but maybe I should just do like a Valoon human. Vassal nodes will also have some drip down from the metropolis. Yes, it will. Yes.
Yes.
Vassal nodes is going to be interesting. I wonder how being the mayor of a vassal node will be like. Like, that's your mayor, but your boss has a boss. You know, it's the boss of your boss, the metropolis node. So I wonder how all that's going to feel. The stream is stuttering. Or is that video? The video is going to be stuttering. We're kind of just listening to it on Elsa's end. HD said he's going to be a dwarf. I think humans and the dwarf races are going to be the most popular, yeah. Yeah, the earliest and most involved races, yeah. So I think we're going to see, I'll be honest with you, Chad, I think we're going to see a bunch of human aesthetics and dwarf. I think those will be the two popular ones more than likely. But hey, we'll see. I'd like to see some variety. I guess we can hit play from here.
Okay.
Primary means of acquiring housing. The first is our in-node housing. It's here that players can begin buying static housing. These buildings belong to the node, and as a node levels up, the housing levels up with it. A player will be able to purchase a small one-room house at the village stage.
Oh, the thing he
when
does
the
say
node
in this video.
advances up to a town, so does that house. The owner enjoys the benefits of a suddenly larger home. His property size increases, his house is located more towards the center of town, and the square footage of his home has gone up considerably. There's new property available.
You guys
at the
see where I
town
got this
stage,
information
but
from?
this new property is more akin to what was available at the previous stage, small and modest. Now when the node advances up further, this time to a metropolis, this all happens again. The player's house, already sizable, grows into a mansion. The number of mansions in a metropolis will be the same number of small homes that were available in this metropolis's village stage. Only those houses that existed at the village level will ever become these main street mansions. So effectively,
That's
at each
crazy.
stage the node advances, you will see the existing
we pause real
homes
quick?
advance as
Yeah.
well.
So right there, we are once again as players faced with what's the right word? Not opportunity cost, but faced with almost a FOMO, if you will. The same way with freeholds, like all the freeholds might get used up, and there may not be freeholds available. Everyone wants one, but like listen to what he said there. Only the house. Now maybe there's some housing plots left over or whatever the case may be, but he said only the housing that was purchased at that village stage or whatever it was is going to be the ones that become mansions. So like say you buy say it's a metropolis and you buy a house, you're going to probably get the one it depends on how you want to interpret this, but you're going to have the thing whatever that was right before mansions. It'll never be a mansion. The mansion has to have been something that was previously there from the super low stage. And to me, that combined with freehold FOMO is gonna really make Ashes of Creation almost a real estate simulator. And but what's cool about that is it's even the freaking housing has risk versus reward, or like I guess just big FOMO. I think it's interesting. I think it's really interesting because I think it's gonna drive the economy. Like I said earlier, I think the prices of houses are gonna be ridiculous. Mansions specifically. He said what? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think you can look at this as loyalty and investment into a specific node. So, I mean, yeah, if you can sell these later on, then maybe not so much. But if you don't want to try and buy one of these, not only will you have to like pick the right node work with the right group of people, these sorts of things, you'll have to be invested early in order to get to that point to potentially have a chance of having one of these things. And so that is such a unique idea. Like, yeah, you're going to be rewarded for not only like working with the correct node system, but you worked with the correct node system early. And that's such a unique idea.
I love that word you use because I could not find it in my brain. Investment. Investment. I love, yeah, because like you're always invested in a node. Like while you're getting XP, while it's just like a little baby village. And then if you keep investing it financially, it can pay off as a mansion one day. Well said. Ashes of Relation says, what benefits do you think mansions will give? Nothing. I don't think they'll have any benefits. I think it's more so the amount of space that you get, and the more spacing in a housing system, the more furniture you can put there. And there's just the whole location mindset. Having a freaking mansion on Main Street, dude. Can y'all imagine the house parties that you can throw? A mansion on Main Street. He also says, but now you can't buy a house because 8% APR. You got to live with the Tallnar in the underworld.
Wow, we're going there already. Come
on. If the node dies, so does the upgrades, and therein is the risk reward. Yes. Thereby changing the dynamic of your server, having the ability to change the landscape. Yes, dude. Like, we're painting a canvas. Everything we do has an effect. We have a chance to make a difference. Like, it's just really, I mean, we probably repeat that 3 times a stream, but it's just really cool having a actual effect on the world. Do we have any sense yet of what the end game objectives will be, both individually and collectively? What a great question, because I just watched a video with a similar question to yours from a video back in 2017. My goodness. But Jeff Bard, who was formerly on the Intrepid team, and Steven was asked a question about what is the end game loop. And they immediately pretty much said, like, they don't like the term end game. They don't want a end game per se. And I don't want to butcher the quote or butcher what they said, but it was something in the lines of, they don't like that term, and the players will essentially determine the end game. The conflict, the whole politics of it will determine the end game. Now, obviously, there's end game stuff, like there's going to be harder dungeons, there's going to be harder content. There might be these crazy world bosses. There is going to be an end game, but I think what we're going to find is that most of the content is going to be player initiated. And I did a video on this about player created quest, or I forgot what I titled it, but it was something like that, player created quest, and how that could be and we talked about, and obviously it was a snippet from this stream. Something I don't want people to misinterpret when I say that is that Ashes won't have like its own content. Ashes is going to have its content. Ashes is going to release with enough content in theory to compete with MMOs that's about 5 to 10 years old. There's going to be content, but what I think they mean when they say that is the main fun, like infinite, I will use the term infinite loop, is going to be players' interactions and players' effects on the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
To go off that too is your interactions with the world are really what's going to drive these things. your interactions with these nodes are going to drive the interactions you're going to experience in the world. Your interactions with people are going to drive experiences. And the thing is they have all these complex systems in place, basically designed, like they're creating these systems to give you as much freedom as you want to do what you want, essentially. And with that freedom comes like a whole other avenue of content you can enjoy in the game.
He says Ashes is gonna launch with expansion content waiting. You know what's gonna be the best DLC or expansion? When I find a guy that I don't like and I want to burn his node to the ground. That's gonna be the most content expansion right there. That's the one I'm looking forward to. That's gonna be the DLC that's gonna give everybody something to do. All right, let's hit play. Endgame means it's over. Yes.
This makes getting in early for a node pretty important and introduces a real estate aspect to owning in-node property. I know what you're thinking, and the answer is yes, you can sell these properties. These in-node housing options are at a premium, and we expect these to be hotly contested. But if you want to be a citizen and there are no more in-node housing spots available, you do have some options. For instance, at the town stage and above, your node's politicians will have the option to open up instanced apartments. These are internal-only spaces which can be decorated to your desire. Different price points will offer different sized apartments, and apartment rentals will also offer citizenship. They won't have external spaces to build out, and they aren't quite as prestigious as in-node housing, but they'll still offer some housing functionality to those who really want to be a citizen of a specific node. The final type of housing available are our freeholds. These plots of property can be built anywhere within a node's zone of influence, and only after a node reaches stage 3. These are sizable plots of land that all sorts of structures can be built on. Inns and taverns, forges,
sky houses,
smelters, lumber yards, mills, stables, are all things that you might find on a freehold. These plots of land are where a player can really get creative with their buildings. Because they're built within a node's zone of influence, they grant citizenship as well. The larger the node, the bigger the zone of influence is, which means more freeholds can be built. As you may know, nodes have 4 different types: scientific, economic, militaristic, and divine. These types unlock different buildings at each level of a node's progression, contributing progressively larger benefits at each stage of a node's development. At the metropolis stage, these benefits are so wide-reaching that a scientific metropolis will feel very different from an economic metropolis, and a divine metropolis very different from a militaristic one. Not only will these cities feel different, but the regions these giant cities belong to will feel different as well. Different types of metropolises will have specific ultimate bonuses. For example, a scientific metropolis will offer fast travel to nodes within its zone of influence. This is big because there is very little fast travel in the game. A world with even just one scientific metropolis will feel and act much differently than a world without it. Similarly, an economic metropolis brings world-changing functionality to the table. Normally markets are local, and players can buy from and sell to only players who are in the same node. Economic metropolises break that convention, and they have the capability to build a market that integrates with all the nodes in their zone of influence, providing for a far larger market than any other metropolis could hope for. Divine and militaristic nodes...
All right, there you go.
So, I want to get everyone's feedback on what do you guys think about trading being localized? Like, I think that's going to be something really different. And, like, it's crazy how just in this Nodes 2 video, we've, like, seen a lot of real life aspects. We just saw real estate, the housing market, and investment. And now we're looking at trade and just purchasing stuff, purchasing something local, supply and demand. You know how you can go to Walmart right now? No, that's not a good example. You go to Disney World and a freaking plain burger with a slice of cheese is probably going to cost you $25, maybe an $8 drink. You go to a movie theater. what is the prices these days, guys? Like, is everybody else just waiting for movies to come to the streaming services? Because a large popcorn is probably running you $16. Large drink, $8. The candy that's $1 at Dollar Tree, that same candy inside of that movie theater, because you purchased it in that movie theater, you purchased it where that convenience was, that candy is probably $7, right? Even though it's really valued at $1, so you're making quite a profit. I think this localized trading is going to see a lot of variations in the market, in that we talked about this before. Like, if there's a certain kind of ore that's only found in the mountains to the northwestern of Vera, and if you can haul that all the way back, especially if there's no scientific nodes, if you can haul that all the way back to the east side of the map, the southeast of the map, and you got this ore that's only available in the northwest, do you realize the price difference between that ore and the southeast of a localized trader versus the value of that ore if there's a node, and if you sell it at the node over there in the northeast? Like, to me, that is just insane. It allows you to be a good salesman. I guess it has the goal of a realistic economy, and that's freaking awesome to me. And then you have to contrast with the benefit as a player. Now, when you're looking to buy something, when you're not the seller, that's when you're going to wish, like, dang, I really wish we had an economic node that connected to some vassal nodes so that I can just go to one trader and then all that stuff just shows.
Yep.
All right, have a good one, Rage. Have a good one, buddy. That traveling matters. Yeah, I love the fact that fast travel is limited. Depending on how fast my mount is. Competitive benefits, I feel like it'll just be as substantial and difficult to choose Metropolis. Yeah. It takes resources to maintain. Yes. Block their ability to pay their bills. That's going to be next level, like, mafia type stuff. Me and Elsa are going to be camping outside of people's freeholds.
Yep.
And
Galwood says, I plan to live my life on the caravan system, looking for mercenaries to hire. Hey, man, if you have coin, you might have my shield.
dude, the fact that you don't flag when attacking someone transporting a caravan was just such a... I love that decision. I love that that's the thing.
The thought of loot being valuable is so cool.
Yes, dude. Like, pillage and getting lucky. I'm still waiting for that thrill. We talked about it, like, on ESO. You hit that one person that had 20k Televar. Ed says, yes, but weight and transport have to be real things with tangible risks to moving your products. Yes. I read somewhere you can't teleport or fast travel if you got mats on you or something like that. Ed, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, you can't, I think even with the scientific node that you can't, if you got materials on you, you can't fast travel. It was something like that, I'm sure I read.
I think there's a max that you can take. Like, you can't bypass the caravan system, essentially.
Yeah.
With fast travel is what they were trying to say, if I remember correctly. So I forget where I saw that, but yeah.
Yeah, I know we saw that somewhere. Pocket says, can't decide if I want to be the mercenary or the attacker or both. Don't hire me. Okay, attack. Like, I think escorting caravans could be a good business, but attacking them seems more lucrative. But at the same time, when it's time for me to need my caravan hauled off, I want to have a reputation and that people want to help me. So I think there has to be a balance. I mean, I plan on doing a little bit of both. If I can make me some quick gold by escorting a caravan, I'd like to do it. But I mean, I'll just have to make sure that I'm ready when it's time for me to put together my caravan at the caravansary.
You got to send a lot of flowers to people. As an,
yeah, like, hey, sorry about raiding yours last week, but you mind helping me real quick?
Sorry about bashing your skull in last week and the week before. Help me.
Feather says, but they said you still can lose gear when you are a red player and get killed while attacking a caravan. Oh, if you already corrupted and entered the area? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Ed says you can only fast travel if you are under the max inventory limit. Moreover, and it will drop extra right on the ground and port you as you read it. Okay. I know I read something like that. Okay, that's good. All right, let's finish this.
Okay.
Also break World Convention in one way or another. In other words, everything changes once a node reaches the Metropolis stage. Along with those benefits, node type also determines the type of government that a node has. The most traditional government comes from the scientific node, which allows the citizens to come together and choose their leaders. The divine type allocates its leaders through service-oriented quests, quests that directly help others and their node, quests that prove their faith and dedication to the node. Economic type governments are run by an elite oligarchy. These positions can be bought and sold, so if you want to rule an economic type node, make sure your coin purse is heavier than your competition. Finally, the militaristic type is ruled by combat. Whoever are the last ones standing have proven their worth to lead by Iron Fist and Sharpened Blade. These warriors can only be removed from office by citizens.
Like, okay, I got a hot take or a hot prediction. I think we should. Oh, you know what else? We should do some stream predictions. Here's one of mine.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna get the military node as described here. So here it's described as these words can only be removed from office by citizens. There's like a battle royale kind of a way of determining the mayor of that node. I wonder how different they're gonna do this. And the reason I say this, the military node is the one I'm most excited for. One, as a PvPer. Two, as it's the best chance for me to become mayor. And then 3, the bounty hunter system, if I didn't already say that. Ash, just thank you so much for the $2 dono, dude. Thank you so much. I just have a hot take that they've been so inconsistent. I think at one time that I think they said they're gonna have chat. Someone help me out. They were gonna choose what do you call it?
Champion.
Like thank you so much. You're gonna choose a champion to fight for you or something like that. I don't know. I would like I mean, they don't got to go full APOC battle royale style, but I would love to see it described here as is, where if you want to be a mayor, you sign up for this event. The event takes place during prime time. There is like some sort of coliseum or some open world battleground that you guys meet at, and all of you just jump in this pit, and it's friendly fire against everybody. Not friendly fire, but it's a free for all against everybody. And last person standing is the mayor. And there's so much strategy. Do you focus the person that everybody else is already focusing so you can get rid of another target? Are there predetermined alliances? Like these guys agreed not to attack each other. Could that be a flaw in the system? Or I just think some sort of free-for-all battle royale sounds amazing. And I hope that they actually pull it off. And the only way I could see them pulling it off, if it's sort of like a node siege where there's like an event and it's scheduled, and if you want to be mayor, pull up, and then it's like, okay, well, how many people do you allow in this battle royale? Like, there's so much about the military node and its benefits that we have yet to get ironed out, which obviously 2 days from now, we're going to know everything. So as far as being the mayor goes, I really hope they do a good job with the military node. Also, like we was talking about, military node players get or citizens, I'm pretty sure, get less corruption, which, I mean, that sounds cool. I really hope they stick through with all that.
So is it for sure have they said it's a free-for-all thing for mayor, or is it like a series of duels?
See, that's what so I could have sworn there was a quote from Steven or somebody where there's like, since Ashes, that's when they said the thing about the champion. There was something like, since Ashes is not designed for 1v1 balance, that they're thinking about doing some sort of champion system. But I'm like, how does that work? What does that exactly mean? But the free-for-all battle royale, matter of fact, back this video up about 10 seconds. Ain't that what he just here, let's see.
Okay, I backed up.
I don't know if it's free
combat,
but
whoever are the last ones standing have proven their worth to lead by Iron Fist and Sharpened Blade. These warriors can only be removed from office by citizens who are better and more bloodthirsty than they. Once a leader is chosen,
so yeah, it sounds like a battle royale or
outside the basic services.
Sure.
So yeah,
okay.
That's what I get from it. It sounds like a they would have to do it had to be some sort of free for all environment. I don't imagine them like it seems like a very tough task to attack if you do like a duel slash tournament system, this player versus this player, especially in a MMO based on team play, not built for 1v1. What if this tank player that doesn't have a lot of damage wants to become mayor of this military node? It's really he's, as I say that, HD says he's going in there as a tank. I made that
Always gotta
joke
be that
actually.
one guy.
I actually made that joke in the Discord, Ashes of Relation, that I would love to see, basically, obviously not the whole thing, but a APOC style of choosing the military mayor mode. But then again, if they went that detailed in it, if they made that so fun, a lot of people would be like, well, this is the only time we're going to be able to play this game mode. That sounds fun by itself. I would love to do that just as an activity, So
Yep.
I don't like think about how you choose a divine nodes mayor or a regular nodes mayor. It's pretty simple. Are they really going to implement a whole system, a whole combat thing, a whole game mode essentially just to choose the leader of a military node? Or is Thursday we're going to see something a little bit more simplified where it's most player kills. Once this advances to stage 3 and you guys can select the mayor, the most player kills is the one that gets selected as mayor. Does that make more sense to you, chat? I mean, it doesn't sound as fun. It's not what I would prefer. If they can do the battle royale free-for-all thing, I would like that. But think about it. Would this not be a simple way to choose mayor instead of this last man standing thing, which I'm all for? I want to go ahead and preface this by saying I prefer this. But could you not see them going to a system where, and I wouldn't want it to be rewarded on PKs, but most objective-based kills, that be during a siege war, most caravan objective-based kills, something like that. I could see them being, I could see it being a little bit more simple because that's the stuff that's just stats that you track. That's just a leaderboard, and the person that PvP the most in that time frame successfully is elected as the mayor once it goes stage 3. You know how everything you do contributes to a node's XP? Well, if that ends up becoming a military node, or if that is the military node that this happened on, then hey, whoever contributed the most PvP XP to that node, once it gets to stage 3, at that point, that person becomes the mayor. What do you guys think about that?
I like that idea. I also just like the idea of rocks. Like I like all three, and they all have their different benefits, right? Because a free-for-all is just fucking chaos, and chaos is fantastic. Like that's the perfect like envelopement of what a military node is. Like until you have your leader, it's everybody just cutthroat vying for power. So that's a cool idea. The idea of duels and rock paper scissors, yeah, sure. I mean you're hard countered in some ways, but it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to lose. So like if an archer runs across like a mage or whatever their hard counter is and they win, it's more impressive. Like everybody like a series of duels building up, somebody's going to have to win one of their hard encounters, right, in order to like move on. And so I think that's cool. And then yeah, like you said, like that would be the most common sense way to go about doing it. But then like where you're talking about experience for PvPing, but then is that a timing game based reward or is that a best PvP reward? How do you want to go about it? So kind of like Emperor and ESO, like if you play 24 hours straight, sure, like you have the most experience, but are you the best player or are you just the best at getting the experience? So
yes. And I hate that system. It just reward the people with no life. Yeah. Like whoever, like instead of the person that was actually fighting out there outnumbered or contribute or winning the most fights, it's whoever like no life the most.
Yeah.
I hope it's what it sounds like here, and we just get this as is, and it's just like I don't know if they'd have to do it duels. I don't know if they could just throw us all in a mosh pit.
I'm cool with chaos. Chaos would be so much fun.
Holy crap. I just thought of a way that they can actually implement this and simplify it. Obviously, what I'm saying right now is not what they're going to implement in 2 days, but I just thought of a way I would do it to kind of combine everything we just said. So hear me out. Okay. So a node has a zone of influence. Like you remember from Nodes 1 video that we saw the pink border and the green border, right? What if there was a scheduled event during prime time and then it's like, boom, for the next hour, if you die in this node, you're out of the race, and it's like last one standing, and everyone shows up on the map, so you know where the next player that signed up for this event is at, and then you guys just find each other, you kill each other, and it's the last person standing at that timer, And I don't know how you would work out if not everyone's found or whatever, but basically everyone's shown on the map, everyone's visible, and you just go out and eliminate the other players. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just desperate for a good military node system. And I mean, we could get some news tonight, Thursday, that hey, it's as simple as they said. They did literally this, and I will be very, very happy. Panda in chat says, what if it's a matter of the top 10 players getting a vote and then the top 3 having additional votes for mayor? Hold on, let me read that again. What if it's a matter of the top 10 players? Oh, okay. So only the top 10 people are included in democracy. Let me piggyback off of what you just said, Panda. And holy crap, I just keep thinking of different ideas. I'm just literally throwing whatever comes to my brain. But okay, what about this one, chat? Okay, hear me out. Kind of what Panda just said. There's a democracy, and whoever gets the top 6 votes, the top 6, let's say it's the top 6, right? Whoever gets voted for mayor, whoever those people with the 6 most votes, you throw them in an arena, and they just got to show up to this spot at this scheduled time, and then those 6 just fight it out. I think that would be so simple, and it'll combine the democracy with the military style thing. Last person standing is chosen. I think that's probably the best system. Everything else I said is probably too complicated. I think that would be doable.
Yep.
Fiddle says, I think it has to be last man standing because of what you gain. They're going to go in with allies who support them. It'll partially be social politics. True. If we were all group and we decide that Nice was going to be mayor, we could create a group and defend him until the end. Oh yeah, see, that would be a good workaround there. Religious node system, just got to be no life those quests. Yeah. I don't think the mayoral systems will be solo. I think they will all involve teams of players supporting one person. Someone else says, shows up on the map. How would that work with stealth characters? Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, that might kind of kill the rogue's identity. Someone said, Ed says, you do it as a groundswell like we do at Penance. One of the troubles we here saw through the crown system. Interesting. Miko says, I remember an old system I ran online. People would get to sign up and then they would get teleported to an instance dueling field or an event date. You know what? Duh. I didn't even think about them just getting instantly transported to an instance place. That makes it so much simpler than what I said. Yeah, that's like 30 times better than what I said. Like making it in this certain area and then no. Yeah, that's just so simple. Just have some little playing Coliseum thing that everyone's teleported into if you signed up, and the people that were online, they're teleported there, and if it's those 10 duke it out and the last one standing wins. Yeah, you know what? There we go. I think that's probably the simplest thing anyone's said. I think I was making it too complicated. I like what he said. I like what that guy said.
Yeah, that was actually how I was envisioning it. So like this big ass Coliseum where everybody can stand over and watch, and then people queue in, they fight, it ends, they queue out, and they queue in the next one, and you just keep going down the line until somebody's championed. And then obviously like the final match, you can change the lighting and stuff, and like make it look more dramatic for the final fight, which would be pretty cool. So
that's cool. I like that. Yeah, I think that's probably what we're gonna get. We'll figure out. We'll find out Thursday, and I can't wait to find out. But yeah, all right. Let's. We got 4 minutes left, so that's easily another 2 hours. Let's get it.
Galwood says I'd be mentally prepared for Intrepid to cut some of these node systems down to size on Thursday. We're definitely treading near the too good to be true zone. It's so much. Yeah. I think it's. I don't know why. Like I really try to keep a level head on things, and I'm like glass out. Like really try to be even keeled about things. But for whatever reason, I just think this node system's even bigger than what I think it's going to be. Like when they discuss it, and I have no reason to think that, but
I'm kind of with you. I think we're gonna sacrifice, and we eventually. I mean, come on, with as much stuff as this game is promising, we're gonna have to sacrifice somewhere here and there. Maybe it's little things, maybe some things are big things, but we're gonna have to sacrifice. Like originally, the nodes number was higher, now we're down to 85. We're gonna sacrifice in some places where I don't think, like I think the augment system, which I'll say that for a whole nother stream. I think the augment system is one we're gonna sacrifice in, personally.
Yeah.
But I think nodes is the one thing that they will exceed our expectations on, actually. because I think this is the core of the game. I think it's actually going to be. I don't expect that to be cut down. I expect them to actually do more than what we're expecting. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right, let's do this.
That a node provides, leaders must choose what other service buildings to construct, which means they should have a clear plan for what they want to accomplish during their tenure. Some buildings might simply provide a zone-wide bonus to their citizens. Others might provide expanded markets. Some may increase a node's ability to defend against a siege. There is only so much space for these kinds of buildings, so the leadership will need to choose well in order to keep their citizens happy. Along that same line, leaders will need to tax their populations to provide these services, to construct these buildings, and to keep node atrophy at bay. Too much and their populations will abandon them. Too little and the node will decay and delevel. Savvy leaders can supplement their node's income with trade routes and trade agreements with other nodes. Be sure to provide some armed escorts for those caravans. Absentee
De-leveling
leaders need
nodes.
not apply, as every leader can be replaced in the next election cycle. Citizens and only citizens reap the reward of the metropolis, gaining the benefits that their taxes pay for. Additionally, citizens can gain titles according to their position within society. Most of
Sorry,
these are
guys.
reserved for those who have been with the
We knew what was going to happen when this happened, so that's why we tried to hit nodes early. Really quick, when he's talking about the rising and falling of nodes and everything, this is such a cool aspect of this game and something I wanted to talk about on this stream as well, and this ties into it perfectly, is the difference between a guild-based system and a faction-based system. And the cool part is like we've all been there, right? We've all been in a faction-based game where the factions don't hold meaning after a while anymore. Like you have the PvPers that want to do the small scaled outnumbered stuff. They're just bouncing back and forth between whatever the smallest one is, because all of the big PvPers are all trying to get together to run over the map. And so it's just this ring around the rosy of what color you're going to be for that month or for 2 months or whatever. Whereas guilds will rise and fall due to inner politics, due to city politics, due to these sorts of things. And because guilds will raise and promote mayors and stuff, they're going to drive these node systems, and nodes can also fall apart too. So if you become disinterested in the game and like a big powerful guild controlling one of the bigger nodes, they all of a sudden aren't playing as much, that node can decay and it can start to fall apart. And then you have to go through like a rebirthing period of finding another guild, finding people in these guilds that are slowly starting to wither and, you know, dealing from people not playing as much, and then reforming into a new guild. And I think guild-based systems are just so much more interesting because it's constantly driving, it's constantly changing, and it's fueling the game in a way that factions do not.
Yes. You don't have to just choose a predetermined cause with a predetermined background for that faction. We've all seen the 3-faction conflict. It's just been overly done. And so I really like that this game is leaving the faction making up to the players, and that guild actually means something in this game. It's not just a byproduct to group you with people that you like. That's really good. Something I didn't realize about Guild Wars for a long time, and in fact how they work, because I thought they were going to be like kind of like the same as Node Sieges for in a sense, but like being able to declare war on a guild is so cool because we have our normal flagging system: corrupted, combatant, non-combatant, whatever. When you're at war with a certain guild, if you declare war, like, hey, we don't like those guys, you see them, kill them on sight. And if I'm correct, someone correct me in chat if I'm wrong. When you kill them, there's no corruption. Like, you guys are flagged as combatants to each other. Think about Purple v Purple. And to me, that is so cool to be able to have like actual beef with someone. Like, hey, it's on sight. Like, we see them, and you don't got to worry about the consequences. And that makes me wonder, like, can you just see them in town and just fight them with no consequence like that? You catch one of them crafting, and you be like, oh, you from so and so guild? Nah, you ain't crafting right here. Come here.
Yep.
Like, no corruption with Guild Wars. Like, that is such a cool thing, and it's not just two other factions you worry about. You worry about this guild. Maybe you got beef with that guild. You got beef with that guild, and then you have guild alliances and partnerships. It's just, I think we're gonna see like it's stuff that you wouldn't normally play a game for. Like obviously we want the combat, we want the story, we want the dungeons, the content. But like the political stuff, the real estate stuff, the conflict stuff, the guild stuff, the wars, like it's just so much in this game that's not even combat specifically that it just you can see how we're going to be playing this game for years and years and years if it's done right. Like the content and the systems are designed to be nearly infinite.
Yeah. I mean, just once again, I'm going to bash faction-based systems, but we've like ESO's faction-based, New World's faction-based. How often have you been on your faction and people are like, oh yeah, go green team, go Daggerfall, whatever. You'll have people in your faction that just actively hate other people in the same faction. There's not that unifying force of we're all working together towards a common good. It's like, hey, this guy's trying to become like emperor of PvP right now, and he's an asshole, and we're not going to help him. And so you have like this inner faction strife, and you can't do anything about it. With guilds, you can. So if Nice and I, like down the road, like have a disagreement and we break off and like we form two different guilds, well, people that support Nice are going to go with Nice. People that support me are going to go with me. And now it's like what Nice just said. It's on site. And now we're going to have issues with each other. And it's never just bitching in zone chat. It's like, hey, we want to resolve this in the game, not through a fucking chat bubble. Like it's going to happen. So, and I think that's the cool part.
Yes, someone's gonna have to ask for a truce at some point, or else y'all just not gonna be farming resources over here.
You can go to another server if you don't ask for truce.
Oh man, that adds like a huge bully potential, like a huge bully aspect potential right there. Like just really bully a smaller guild. Like, oh my gosh. All right.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Metropolis longest, but latecomers can earn their way to the top with enough effort and guile. Only citizens can participate in government and the different election processes. If their leaders have built marketplaces, citizens can set up shop there by purchasing time from the city and paying taxes on the goods they've sold. In Ashes of Creation, what is built can be destroyed, and metropolises are no different, but we feel that the effort to destroy something must be equitable with the effort to build something. Because of this, the higher level a node is, the more difficult and challenging the task of initiating a siege becomes. That means that sieging a metropolis will be an act of epic and world-shattering proportions.
Yes.
The success or failure of that siege will be written into the history books and likely impact every person on that server. Should it succeed, the metropolis will be deleveled or even destroyed, erasing the global benefits that it once provided, while at the same time opening up the opportunity for another node to take its place. Maybe one of a different type, maybe one led by a tyrant, or maybe none at all. Should that siege fail, that means that the hopes and dreams of the attackers, who should be legion in number, have been thwarted, and the status quo will endure. As I said in the beginning, metropolises are the pinnacle of civilization. They represent this through their size, through their systems, and through their citizens. Their weight is felt across the world, and once one is established, everything will change. For the better or for the worse? Well, that's up to you. I hope you have enjoyed this overview of the Metropolis. We have so much to share with you about Ashes during our development. Everyone here at Intrepid Studios is so appreciative of the support that you all have shown us, and it means so much to have you with us along the way. Please subscribe to our social media outlets and make sure to register on our website for updates. Our Kickstarter begins May 1st. We look forward to building Ashes of Creation into the MMORPG that we can all be proud of.
Really quick, Anthony, this came out 6 years ago. So the reason the graphics don't look great is because it's a 6 years ago thing. They're doing a big reveal on nodes that hasn't been done in a while. And so we're just kind of catching up for those people that have not seen it yet. So that's why it doesn't look the way it normally should. So
yeah, this was pre-Kickstarter.
Yeah, like this is a long time ago. Just so you know, like this isn't what the game looks like so far.
All right. Else, go ahead and pull up Nodes 3 for us, if you will.
That's a trick question, and you know it.
All right. So I like what he said there, and I think that's where you just get the goosebumps. Where he's like, it will be written in the history books. I was talking
Yeah.
to someone about this. I think it was in my comments section. Um, we was talking about like pretty much. Can you imagine the story of the first node siege? Not really the first node siege. I mean, that's gonna be cool too, but the first sieging of a Metropolis node, like, or the first taking down of a metropolis is going to be a big event, but also the first establishing of a metropolis is on your server, dude. Like, I still say people are going to flock there to take pictures. It's just going to be a big thing to have the first metropolis. I think it's going to be, I think in Alpha 2 and on live. I think we talked about that last stream, but I just think it's going to be of epic proportions. And I really hope I can be there and be in one of those battles that's told decades later, you know?
Yeah, we talked about this I remember talking about this on a live stream, and I'm more than cool talking about it again because it's such a neat idea. But I think the first Metropolis falling across all servers will have an Eve. It won't be as big as Eve because Eve has the hundreds of thousands of dollars invested, but it's going to have that type of storyline among the game. I think it's going to be that big. And I think on top of that, the repercussions of a node rising or falling is very, very impactful. And the drama and guilds formed around that is going to fuel conflict in the game even more. So
Yes.
it's such a cool idea. Like, the entire idea of the node system is just such a neat idea, and seeing how it's going to be fleshed out is, yeah, like, I'm not a large scale PvP person, but yeah, I kind of want to be involved in as many node sieges as I possibly can.
Yes, I would love to. I'm gonna get in on those. I want to be those guys that flank them from the. You got the big crowd, V crowd. I want us to be those guys that dip through the back and start taking them out, outnumbered. Yeah, the special forces, the ones from the flanking them from the other entrance or whatever. I want to make a prediction. So, you know how, and maybe this is just my outlook on Ashes of Creation and the marketing and the popularity or whatever. You could say Ashes is popular. You can also say Ashes is not mainstream or popular.
Okay.
I have a prediction, and this is based off past viewing, keeping tracks of the influence that Ashes of Creation has. I think, like, and if I had to use a rough example, let's say the Cleric Showcase. After the Cleric Showcase, or any Ashes of Creation stream, how does it get really out there to the masses? You obviously have you have Ashes of Creation content creators. You have the hardcore cultists or followers of Ashes. We're going to watch it. It gets popular. Maybe it gets posted on a Reddit, MMORPG Reddit or something like that. But, it stays pretty chill. Maybe Asmon reacts to it. Maybe Peon talks about it in 3 months. And I think that's the limitation. I think that's the scope. Obviously the video on Ashes of Creation's YouTube will do pretty well. It's just so. I have a theory that after this node showcase, especially if they exceed expectations, I think that's when Ashes of Creation will jump on the radar. Like, I think that's when it's just gonna fly ahead, go mainstream. I think that's when it's gonna get picked up by random huge gaming blogs. Every MMO content creator is gonna be like, holy crap, did y'all see this? I think that's when more people's eyes are gonna get on the project, because like we said before, this is the most important stream. This is the MMO defining stream for Ashes of Creation. This is their biggest marketing push. Like, this is gonna be huge if they get this right. This is their chance to expand their audience even more, which, I mean, we already have how many Alpha 2 testers? It's not like it's a small audience, but, man, I think this is the chance for the conversation around Ashes of Creation to really change, start to look more realistic, set itself apart even more, but most importantly, reach even more new people that have no idea what the heck we're talking about when we talk about, and say, Ashes of Creation.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll go out a little bit further on a limb. I think regardless of if this next live stream is successful or not in our eyes, I think it is going to I think it will be the biggest live stream of the year. And I think we can argue it'll be the biggest event that has happened in like content creation, Ashes of Creation in the last 2 years since Alpha 1. So I would contend like the biggest ones that have happened since then would be, you are not going to like this game that happened last year with some content creators.
Yeah.
I feel like that drove a lot of discussion in the game in a good way, and Steven reacting to that and coming out and basically saying like, this is what we're going to do. If you don't like it, fine, basically. I think that one was big. I think the Night and Day one was also big, and the Freehold one was big. And this is just another level. This is going to be on a completely different level because we've talked about this before as well. In order for, if you want to reach the lofty expectations of being the next, viewed as like the next WoW, the next BDO, the next Final Fantasy, like the next big MMO, you have to stand out in your own unique way. Nobody wants to play, like I don't want to play a game that is basically a bastardized version of something that already exists. Like I want to play something unique. The node system is unique, and this is how this game will be able to potentially separate. I think Intrepid knows this. I think everybody that's kind of keeping in touch with the game knows this. And if it fails, I think you're going to see, lots of people talk about what's wrong with it, why it fails, why this game is going to crash and burn. And if they hit it out of the park, you're going to see the exact opposite. I think regardless, I think this is the moment where this game's really going to go viral again.
Yes, dude. What's bad, and maybe it's bad, but I haven't even fathomed the thought or processed the potential of this stream disappointing or being bad. I haven't prepared for that.
I know.
Holy crap. I haven't even prepared of that being a thing. And maybe there's not even a way for it to be bad or disappoint. But honestly, and I hate to be this guy, judge me later, but if it's even just average or okay, or just another stream, like, yeah, here's our node slide, and here's a node, let's take a walk. Like I think it's not allowed to be just okay. This has to blow us out of the park. Anything shy of that, and people are gonna rip it apart.
I think of it like this, and like this is my crackpot theory since we're talking about it. Besides, crackpot theories are fun because you guys can make fun of me for it later if I'm wrong, and then we all have a good laugh at it. My perspective is this: like look at the Freehold system, the Freehold reveal, right? Mm-hmm. It was very good. It was very fun to watch. They went through, they picked some plants, they had a presentation and everything. They went in detail and everything. But it was just kind of like, this is a Freehold, right? Yep. The fact that nodes are grander in thought, like it like what they are, you're going to have 4 of these systems. Like they're going to go into some detail on some of them, probably not all of them. Like they're going to have to explain some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think they know that this is big because they delayed it a month. And so the fact that they held this back a month, they said, hey, we're going to go through the visual effects of the cleric and all this. I think they know that this is bigger than Freeholds. And because they know that, or they're approaching it like that, I think it's just going to be big. And I don't think they're holding it out to the 31st. Like they waited to the last day of the month. Like they're giving themselves every possible chance to have this thing hit it out of the park. That's how I'm viewing it.
Like,
no
hey, it's still technically August. Yeah, no pressure. Someone said no pressure, Steven. Like, it's man. Now you got me thinking about the Freehold stream. Yeah, that is the closest equivalent, but it's that on steroids. Like it's that important. I expect the stream to be even longer than the Freehold stream. I expect the slideshow, an even longer slideshow. And there's just so much with nodes that they gotta show. Like the merchants, are they gonna show it leveling up? Like, are they gonna show it at stage 2 and stage 3 and then level it up from there? Are we just gonna walk straight into a metropolis, which I don't imagine? Maybe stage 5, which I think is the city. Like where? Like there's so many different ways they can present this to us that I just hope they do it right. But Steven said that he wasn't satisfied with it, so they're pushing it back a month. And to me, that means what you're presenting and what you're getting behind. I mean, obviously, any presentation that they're presenting it, they're putting their stamp on it. But to me, if you push something back and say, "Hey, it wasn't ready," and you present this saying, "Hey, this is my product, this is ready," then like that's putting a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, marketing team.
I was just thinking about this. You're talking about I can't imagine this. Like I haven't put myself in the situation of this live stream failing. I've now put myself there, and I've gone down this rabbit hole. Are you ready?
Okay.
If they cancel nodes, I think it will still be the biggest event that happens of the year until nodes gets revealed. Like that's how, like if they all of a sudden said, hey, we're going to discuss like the Warrior on Thursday, which is not going to happen. I'm pretty sure we're going to go through with nodes. But I'm just saying, like, even that I think is going to create so many ripples. Like, how far out is this game? What is going on? Where are we? like the inner like nervousness of people is going to be like, gosh, I thought it was going to be like a year away from this, and now it's 5 years away. Those sorts of things are like, you're going to see that pop up. So
Ed, thank you so much for the $20 donation, dude. Much love back at you. Thank you so much for being here, dude. Noah in chat says, I think that everyone is expecting this should be the biggest live stream. Yeah, I think there's no way around it. It's the biggest aspect of the game. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care what you're excited for, what attracted you to Ashes. This is undoubtedly the most important system of the game. This is what makes it a different MMORPG. This is what makes it not Guild Wars 2. This is what makes it not Elder Scrolls Online.
Yes. Exactly.
But you know what else? By the way, on your tangent there with if it's pushed back or whatever, like I think even if, by the way, I'm throwing a bet out there. I don't think it starts on time. There's no way it's not pushed back half an hour or an hour than what's scheduled. That's gonna be my my prediction. But and Panic is just gonna go through instantly. But I'm gonna say it doesn't start on time. I'm gonna say it doesn't start on time. I'd say minimal 10 minutes pushback. Minimal. That's gonna be my guess, chat. I expect like I said, long slideshow, but I expect them to have an article ready. Remember after the Freehold, I feel like they wrote the Freehold article in response to I say this loosely, backlash. But it's more so confusion than backlash, I'd say. I expect them to do the stream and have an article posted to the website that day, maybe next day. Marketing, the community team, Margaret, I think they got their ish together, and I'm expecting greatness. And it's kind of like last stream when someone asked, what do you think Steven won't deliver on? Like, they haven't like given me a reason to expect nothing bad or failure or anything like that. The track record, it's a clean track record, right? So
yep.
I'm expecting greatness from this node stream, chat. I don't know about y'all, but Ed said Star Citizen broke his heart. Oof.
Yep. Yeah, I keep thinking about this too. Like Dice, we can relate on this level. But as content creators, we've made builds for MMOs before. Do you remember your first build video and how much better you've gotten since then?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Developing like the information you're trying to go out, proliferate through the masses that are watching your content. You've just gotten better at it. I think the Freehold thing, I don't think they did anything wrong. I just think that they didn't potentially like dot all their I's and cross all their T's, and so it left open some room for uncertainty, and then they had to go in later and make sure that, hey, this is dotting our I's and crossing our T's. I think they know that now, and I think it's going to be more polished now because they already know what happens if it's not. So
that's true. I didn't think about it like that, but yeah, they learned from that. Yeah, that's true. I never looked at it from like how it would relate to me, like in a content creation space. But yeah, I think they're gonna be on their P's and Q's, and I don't know, chat. I don't want to. I hope, and I don't think I'm at the level
no hype or anything.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at the level of my expectations are too high. I think I need them to exceed expectations. I don't know if that even makes sense as I'm saying it, but I want them to exceed expectations, but I also don't think my expectations are too high. I know that's probably contradicting, but I'm expecting greatness. I'm not expecting average. I don't think it could be bad. I don't think it could be bad unless they like removed 40 more nodes and there's only 3 types and no. I don't think it could be bad. I just need it to not be. And when I say average, we've had great streams, right? I thought the Freehold stream was great. You know, someone likes the Mage showcase or they love the Cleric showcase. Like everyone has their stream. Like, you know, I always say the Melee showcase and the ranged weapon showcase are my babies. Everyone has their favorite stream. And let's say, for instance, that your favorite stream, everybody in chat, think about your favorite stream, right? Just have it in your head. What did they do right? What did you see? Was it your class? What was it? How was the presentation? What was the questions asked? Think about your favorite stream and think about that stream as just average. I want that to be your bar. I want that to be the average. This node stream needs to be better than that stream that's in your head right now. And not what they present. Don't compare the information or what's being discussed. I mean, literally the stream itself has to be better than that stream that's in your head as an overall presentation. Like, it needs to blow your mind. It needs to have a surprise in there for you. It needs to do all those things. And once again, remember, this stream is going to be different, or it needs to be different, in the sense that for the first time in a long time, they have to worry about even more so than usual, an outside audience an outside audience that doesn't closely follow Ashes of Creation.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, and think about it this way too. Like what we've watched tonight with Nodes 1 and Nodes 2 came out 6 years ago. And so we've already seen Nodes 1 and Nodes 2. They're going to cover some of that stuff, but they have to cover the stuff that we don't know. I personally doubt that they're going to go into all the details on each individual node levels. I don't think they're going to go too far in depth because, yeah, Galwood here says the challenge with the node live stream is keeping it under 10 hours. Seriously, there are probably 100 features of nodes we haven't even covered tonight. Yeah, exactly. Like,
dang, that's crazy. Yeah.
And so, like, my expectation is like, I expect to hear basically all new information, like maybe covering the bases of what we already know or what we've heard, and like, hey, we're still going with this. But I expect like an hour or 2 hour long live stream of just new stuff. And if it's not new, if it's not stuff that we haven't heard, I'm gonna be a little disappointed. Or if it's not stuff that if it's not new stuff, I will be disappointed. I think I said that wrong. So that'd be my view of a failed live stream.
Yeah. I'm expecting a summary of things that we already know, a lot of things that change, but like, there's got to be some new stuff, right? I mean, surely.
Yeah, details.
Surely there's new stuff. Little details. A lot of clarifications. Yeah. Once again, thank you for that donation, Ed. Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on you guys' project. What do I want to say here? I'm going to be watching the stream. Oh, actually, before I even get into that, if you guys did not see, is it this Sunday? Steven's going to stop by a podcast for basically a Q&A session. So we're going to get information like overload. Remember after Freeholds, like Steven did, like jumped into 2 streams or something?
Yeah. Yeah, he went on Lace, Casey and Lace, is it? Their live stream, then I forget the other one.
Like, I think we're gonna get he's gonna go on a tour, a content tour. So we already see the one that's scheduled, and so if he follows, and I think that's because the Freehold stream was big. So, and of course there's still some more stuff to clarify. So they did the Freehold stream, and then he did 2 more community streams, so to speak. So I think with nodes, we got the node stream, then he has a scheduled stream, and then so maybe he'll pop in on a random podcast. I winked at my camera just now, Elf.
I heard the pause. I didn't hear the wink, but I heard the pause.
But so we could expect something like that. I think we're gonna get a lot of information overload here shortly. So I think we're in a lot of people said this was a long month, like a long content drop, because we technically already seen the cleric, and so like after a week, maybe a week and a half, everyone was like, all right, well, what's next? Anything else to hold us off? There was no teasers or nothing. In Discord, they was like, how do you guys feel about teasers? And me, I wish they would do that. Well, excuse me, I love waiting a month, but no, I hate waiting a month in between showcases with nothing in between. It's always been my suggestion that at least at the halfway point of the month, they should drop a teaser of the upcoming stream if it's already planned, if it's already in the books, even if it's like on the 21st. Like they did it with the Tower of Carfin stream, and how long was that video, chat? I want to say it was like less than 30 seconds. The story arc stream, they dropped a little teaser of the Tower of Carfin. And to me, just that, just a little something, like, you know, just a little something just to kind of start weaning you off into the end of the month. I think that'll be really.
You sound like a drug addict right now, weaning you off.
I'm scratching my neck. I need my ashes fixed. Don't make me wait to the 31st, Bob.
Got any more ashes content?
Got any more of that ashes? But I think that would be really cool for their marketing direction if they could just give us a little something, even if they're not positive what they're going to do for the next month. If they just want to drop a random something, you know, it's like, okay, maybe the rogue's not ready to be shown and the next stream planned is crafting, but just randomly post like, oh, by the way, here's a rogue using this ability. What do you think about it? Like, but just you know, just tease me a little bit. Sometimes we want to be teased.
I have an idea, and I don't know if they have that. Like, I'd rather them create the game than spend hours doing this. So if it comes between the two, then don't do this. But it is cool that Steven does these like talks on podcasts afterwards. I think it's a good way of, you know, meeting up with the community, doing these sorts of discussions, like having these sorts of things kind of clarified afterwards. Because I remember the Freehold, there was just a lot of annoyance through some people that watched it. And I feel like he really did a good job of clearing the air immediately afterwards. And the Q&A during the live reveals is great. Like, it is great having those Q&As, but nobody's providing Q&A of what they're actually seeing at that point in time. And so they're not answering questions sometimes off of exactly what they've shown. It's off of, you know, just the system as a whole. And so I think it would be cool if they did like, so the 31st is the live reveal. Well, if the 10th of next month, they do a Q&A just answering questions about that video. And just like, hey, like, we're going to do a Q&A on the previous one. You've had a week and a half to marinate on this. You've voiced your frustration or your excitement. What's digging at you? We can try to answer our questions the best we can. And then you go on to, and then like that helps you get ready for the next live reveal because questions have been answered.
Dude, that's genius. Actually, that would be a good format for them to follow. What do they do? It through a like a community member, like they stop by someone's stream and they use that as their Q&A for like a post-stream Q&A, or if they just do like a little, like how they did that Reddit AMA, you know, just a little something like, here's this question to clarify, and it don't have to be nothing long to where it, you know, breaks up Steven's schedule, but just a little.
It doesn't have to be Steven. It could be other GMs. It could be whoever.
Yeah, that'll actually, yeah, I even think about that. Yeah, just a little 10-minute thing. But yeah, chat said my stream stopped for like a couple of seconds there. I bet it's this long Ashes of Creation 40-minute video that I have looping on stream. Ever since I added that to my stream thing, I've had that issue. So I wonder if that's it, or if I just need to update my program. But
sure.
Someone said, Bill in chat says, well, I'll wait and see, but everything that was promised in today's climate of game making, forgive me if I don't believe everything that came out of Steven's mouth.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Very understandable. So just to kind of touch on what you said there, I'm with you. I've lost faith in the gaming industry. This project is the only one I'm actually helpful about. There's a couple of ones that I had faith in or still have faith in. Like, I think, like, I knew Armored Core was going to be good because FromSoft is one of those dependable companies.
Yeah.
I knew I had nothing on my radar about Baldur's Gate, so I'm not going to claim that one. I had nothing on my radar about Baldur's Gate. But Starfield, I imagine it's going to be pretty decent. I imagine it's going to be good even. Hopefully that doesn't disappoint. But there's not many things I put my faith in. The last time I pre-ordered a game, and you guys are about to judge me so hard when I say this, so I had me a PS5, and I was playing the Elder Scrolls Online. It was like the main game in my rotation, and I was like, man, I need something different. I need something different in around here, you know? I haven't played a first-person shooter in a while. And my favorite first-person shooter since I stopped playing like the Call of Duties, the Modern Warfare, back when they started running on the walls, when Call of Duty started having ultimates and specialists and running on walls, I'm just like, all right, Battlefield me. And I love the Battlefield series. I love the Battlefield games. So I was like, I don't need to get me a first-person shooter. Well, at the time, as soon as I had this thought, I seen that Battlefield 2042 was releasing.
Oh no.
And I was excited. I was like, a new Battlefield game? I did like probably just, I kid you not, chat. I did probably just 5 minutes of research. I seen that there was no campaign, which I mean, who played those games for the campaign? So in my mind, I'm like, wow, they're not even wasting time on the campaign. It's just straight up multiplayer. That's perfect. That's what I play. That's less resources they had to put into making a single player game. There's going to be so much multiplayer content. It's just going to be really cool. That's the devs' whole focus. I don't got to worry about nothing else. I am excited. I got expectations. Chat, I was so happy. I didn't just pre-order the $60 or $70 copy, whatever games cost these days.
No.
Dude, I was so invested and so hyped. I bought I'm talking $100 plus, whatever the hell the name of that edition was. It had all the future DLCs. It came with this pre-order skin. It came with that. I was just like, oh, I'm got all Battlefield. And I had just got my PS5 around that time. And this was going to be my first time. I'm like, a next gen first person shooter? My frame rates are going to be crazy. Oh my gosh, it's Battlefield. It's going to be so massive scale, next gen, blah, blah, blah. I got the $100 plus edition, chat. And when I tell you that was the worst game, it released with like no content. You guys know the story of Battlefield 2042. I don't need to go. It was the worst game. I mean, I'm sure if you go find footage of me playing it like the first 2 days, you know, you got that new game nostalgia. And then after a while, you start to realize like, wait, they don't even have this. It actually had less stuff than the previous games. I'm not talking about previous games with DLC included. I mean, literally released with less stuff, even though it didn't have a single player campaign. At release, it had less maps, less everything. And I don't want to keep ranting about this because it's irrelevant to the stream, but
no, it's not. It's not. It's gaming. This is
true. Like it released with such minimal effort and and I'm not even going to talk about bugs and glitches because games released with bugs and glitches, we're just almost immune to it at this point. But long story short, I say all this to say that the gaming industry has just constantly failed us. How many bad gaming stories have we heard about in 2023? It wasn't until just recently with I think Harry Potter Forward was fine. Harry Potter released with like some PC issues or whatever, but it was at least kind of playable. But think about first half of 23, like what's the name of that game? Redfall? I don't know. It was some like vampire game. I don't know. But basically this has been a year of disappointments, and last year wasn't much better. And I totally get you, dude, for not having faith in the gaming industry. But here's where it works out for me with Intrepid and Ashes of Creation. It's open development, and I don't got to worry about no surprises. And I know, you know, there's still that thing like, okay, maybe everything's not included. Like we talked about, like maybe we just get 80% of what we were promised. At least I get to see the game, and at least I get to hear from a developer that's like genuine. It's not no guy from EA telling me, oh, this is going to be the best Battlefield ever. Or, you know, it's just, oh, Throne and Liberty. How did I gloss over that? Throne and Liberty was, I think we talk about this once a podcast, else.
Yeah.
But Throne and Liberty is the perfect example.
Well, and I told you last time, the last game I pre-ordered was Fallout 76. Mm-hmm. And I loved Fallout 1, 2, and 3. I was really excited for Fallout 76. I played it for 2 hours, and I never played it again because it was that bad. It was not enjoyable. My wife played for a little bit longer. She hated it. Like, she was trying to make it work because she enjoyed the series as much or more than I did, which was impressive. But yeah, like the game was garbage. And my point of view is like I just sent it to Nice and he'd already seen this, but like NBA 2K is now doing a league pass for their fucking game, and like you see all these, you see these predatory style investment games, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying to see, and I agree with you. Who'd you say said it? Bill? I think you said Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, I agree with you. The cool part about Ashes, and this is a conversation I had with somebody on my channel is you don't have to pay for the alpha. Like they're doing open development and everything. If you want to get your hands on it and you want to potentially risk losing $250, then sure, invest in the alpha. For me, I'm looking at it as a way to show people that are watching my channel what this game is, because I don't know, like maybe the combat isn't going to catch my eye and I could talk about it and do that. And so, but I love the direction Intrepid is going. I want to see games like this succeed, even if like the combat isn't something I'm going to enjoy and I'm not going to play it. The fact that they're going out there and they're creating this style game and they're sticking to their core philosophy and they're executing openly is enough for me personally to do the Alpha 2 investment. For everybody else, you can just wait till the game comes out and then you drop $15 for 1 month. And if you don't like it, you never pick it up again. You don't have to spend $60. You don't have to spend $20 a month for a league pass. You don't have to invest in pay to win through the Crown Store to get better gear. It'll cost you $15 to see if you like the game. And you'll probably have a good idea if you're going to like the game by then, because they're building everything out in the open and you're not going to be surprised. So you'll be ready for it. And even at that point, if you're out $15, you're out $15. Which is for me, that's the difference between what Intrepid is doing and what other games are doing.
Yes. So you have two legs to stand on, two crutches even. You have the fact that Intrepid is doing a very perhaps unprecedented open development. So you're not going to be surprised, like I said. And like Elle said, $15. Like, you're seeing the game beforehand. You're going to see people stream it in Alpha 2. And if you see it and you're still interested, $15 to just test it for 1 month, right?
It's not 70.
And yeah, that's not something I was able to really do for Diablo 4. Someone just brought up Diablo 4 in chat. Fiddle says, I was hyped for D4, but after the first season opened, I uninstalled. I challenge you guys to go find my first Diablo 4 stream. I was so excited. Once I start getting into, I was like, oh man, I could theory craft on here, even though it's probably the same thing other people were doing on Diablo 4's Summon Necromancer, right? It felt fun. Like I liked going through my skill tree, coming up with my skills. And I thought I was going to play that game for a while. Then slowly and slowly, the problems kept popping up. And then, like you, I quit after the first season. And all you see as far as Diablo 4 content and videos these days is all the negatives. And I'm not going to get into that, but I have not opened that game. Oh man. And it costed $70. I got to level, I think I got to level 58. I beat the main story obviously, and then I did a little bit more, and then I haven't touched season 1 or anything like that. The campaign, I enjoyed it and it was fun gameplay, but it wasn't going to be something that stuck me around for a while. But this is just that thing with gaming and just disappointment. And I don't know. I feel like with Intrepid, I personally feel that this is the savior of the genre. I know that's a big thing to tout for something I haven't played. And like Elle said, who knows? We can love all these systems about the game, then we get our hands on it and we don't like the combat. But just the promise around the game and everything that's doing and its innovation, and like, what if we like the combat? What if everything, like, it could be that game? And to me, there's nothing that I'm even looking forward to. MMO, especially MMO wise, no. There's nothing I'm not even like, oh man, this looks promising. We have a lot of other titles coming out, like an ArcAge 2, Throne and Liberty, which, I mean, that whole disappointment. I hope they revamp that. But there's Ashes, and that's probably, once again, courtesy of the open development. Ash is the only one that I'm putting my stamp on. Every one of you that's in chat, I'm putting my stamp on, like, hey guys, this looks good, you know?
Yeah, I love the direction so far. Just to like clear the air for those watching, to make sure like we're not just like hype machines and that like all we have is positive things to say. I've talked to Nice about this. My question about this game is what the combat's going to look like. Like my concerns are, you see, I do love the reveals of the cleric and the mage, and I'm looking at it through the lens of it being pre-alpha 2, but at the same time, like, the lack of movement speed while watching the mage is something that gives me pause as to whether or not I would enjoy that type of content. Like, I love the animations and everything, and I think there's stuff that can be added later. But if you're constantly slowed every time you're casting every single ability, like that sort of slowing down of combat, I feel may not feel very fun. And this is way too early for me to say. Like, I don't know for sure until we test it and everything. There's a lot to work on until then. But there are questions about this as well. Like, there are things that they need to work on. But like, you'll see a lot of comparisons, and they're like, hey, this isn't BDO, this isn't this isn't this. And it's like, yeah, it's pre-alpha 2. Like you're comparing a finished, fully fleshed out game that's already gone through alpha 2 and beta testing and everything. You're not holding it in the same vein as like that. We just haven't seen anything like this before, like the open development like this at this stage. So some of it, sometimes it will look clunky. Sometimes it will not be fully fleshed out. And as long as you acknowledge that and just like see what it looks like during alpha and beta, then you can make more informed decisions then.
All right. Like I was talking with Elsa earlier, like, and you guys just saw it on screen here, like that melee showcase with the fighter. That when I watched that, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a fighter or a fighter tank or a tank fighter. Like, that melee combat looks good. And then now if you look on screen where we have the tank showcase, I did not and try to look past all those bright ass abilities. My goodness, you do not see whoever he's targeting here. But anyways, when I watched the melee combat in the tank showcase, it did not look impressive to me. So if we look at it here on screen, like if you can see anything past these bright abilities, it didn't look as enjoyable. When I watched the fighter on that island or whatever he was on in the melee weapon showcase, I was like, oh, that looks smooth. Look at that movement and everything like that. And I know it's different archetypes. It's not going to be the same speed as a fighter versus a slow tank, but just the combat itself, it didn't look the same. The melee combat didn't look the same. So I think if me and Else, this is the rare critique from me and Else, but that's the one thing is like, okay, let's see this a little bit more fleshed out. And the only time I see the combat impress me and really fleshed out was in showcases dedicated to it, which was the melee weapon showcase and the ranged weapon showcase. The combat looked phenomenal. I had no questions. But lately, like when I watch this tank right here, like that right there, that doesn't like look as impressive to me. But pre-alpha 2, let's try not to compare it to BDO 10 years old ESO. Let's cut them some slack for the in progress thing, right? So, and that's just and that's what we mean by a light critique, if you can call it that, because we obviously prefaced it properly, but still.
It's I'm very excited about this game. I'm excited about the direction. I really, really like everything that they're doing. I do have questions about the combat, and I know for a fact I'll have more critiques when alpha and beta come up, because we'll actually be able to play the game. But right now it's just like we're just watching and enjoying how everything kind of unfolds. And so, like we share a lot of the same things that you guys do about, apprehension about playing other games and wanting to invest in these things. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I totally get that. And that's why our channels are up right now. That's why we're talking about it. That's why we're talking about it. So you guys don't have to invest a penny if you don't want to. You don't have to invest a penny. You're going to get all the information you could ever hope to get from either Intrepid themselves or me or Nice's channel. And it's free. So
Jonathan says, I've actually been impressed with the combat because they are taking a very cool approach to the spell system for one. The cleric had interesting mechanics on the spellcaster system. Oh, definitely.
Yes,
skills are going to be impressive. I think they're going to be very innovative.
Skills
the
are
weapon
very
string.
impressive.
Yeah, it's the melee weapon strings that mostly are probably, need more looking at. I don't know.
The movement with the skills is my question.
Jonathan says they need to dial back the blooming and flashing light spells. Blooming and flashing light spells. Yeah, those bright abilities, like in the tank showcase, that was most prevalent. Yeah, super bright. Yeah. Nice. Let's see. We're about to hit the 2.5 hour mark. If you guys want to say bye or get a last question in there, we appreciate you guys being here. We really do.
I actually have a question. So this is the biggest. Well, I mean, I think you agree with me that this is going to be the biggest live reveal. You're going to be at work, so we're not going to be able to do a podcast for it on Thursday. What do you think about Friday?
Oh,
What do you think about an emergency podcast on Friday to cover instant thoughts and reactions?
yes, yes, yes. I don't think I got anything on my plate Friday. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let's schedule that. I'll be able to confirm tonight or tomorrow, but I don't see why not Friday because I'm not streaming Thursday. I'm not even gonna, which is usually my ESO night.
Yeah.
So I'm not streaming Thursday. I'll likely be watching the AOC stream a third time and then making a video, working on a video Thursday night. And then so yeah, Friday night stream would be perfect. And if I
Yeah.
do some ESO this week, I'll do a channel member stream if anything.
Chad, I asked him on stream so he couldn't say no to you guys. That's how you do these things. So
Did you just no pressure me the way we've been no
No
pressuring
pressure.
Steven?
no pressure, no pressure or anything. But yeah, you want to do a live stream on Friday?
Yes.
No, I think it'll be fun because we're gonna have something where I feel like we're gonna want to talk about a shit ton of things, and it's not gonna cover 2 hours. And so I think it makes a lot of sense to talk about it immediately afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want the thoughts or the first. I want our first impressions as close as we can get them. Because I
Yeah.
think if we wait till the following Tuesday, videos might come out or the
Yes.
community. I don't want video influence. I don't want community influence. I want to get like our rapid fire raw takes, which one day shouldn't take change too much. So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, we shouldn't even did this one. We should just wait.
Let's just delete this right now. See you guys.
You guys didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Friday. Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
I'll get a couple beers. We can just kind of have drinks of creation. Be a good time.
Oh, okay. You're just making this sound better and better. Chat. Drunk Ashes podcast. Ashes of tequila. Okay, everyone, comment on this video. If you're in here right now, comment on the video. We need a cool title. Something that
Shots of
combines liquor
creation.
and ashes of creation. Shots of creation. Bartenders of creation. No. Oh, okay. Work with me on this, chat. This is okay. Vodka of Vera, just because it has a V. Voices of Vera on vodka. I don't know. So we got it. It just roll with the alliteration. That'll be pretty fun.
Tallnars are lightweights.
You know, Tallnars on tequila.
That's my favorite one so far. Happy drunk
Alcoholic
podcast or sad drunk podcast. I'll be one of those. Yeah, it'll be one of those. Yeah.
Alcoholics of creation. Let's do Alcoholics Anonymous of creation. Something like that.
AAOC.
Okay, I'm clapping right now.
You want to call it AAOC, Alcoholics Anonymous of Creation?
That's actually pretty clever. Someone said ashes of inebriation. Okay, these
That
are
one's good.
pretty good. These are pretty good. Drunk bastards of creation. There we go. That's funny. Okay. But we'll call it one here, chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for following Else on Twitch. Thank you for being subbed to the
Yes.
channel here on YouTube. Thank you for liking the stream. Thank you for all your feedback, all your talking points, all your insight, all your commentary. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for just being a member of our community. And can't wait to see you guys Friday.
Yeah, and
You all have a
anybody
good night.
anybody in my stream right now, if you can, and you're not in ICES, go over to his channel, maybe subscribe to his channel, like the podcast, just to get it out there for other people. That'd be very, very helpful. So
Oh yes.
That'd be-
A lot of this is word of mouth. So you guys tell one person about the podcast, they tell someone else, whatever, and yeah.
yeah, sounds good. Take it easy, everybody. We'll catch you on Friday.
All right. Take it easy. Peace.